We are live. What is up, everyone? OG over here from Player Essence, and welcome to a brand new series that we have for you guys. We have the EssenceCast. This is the first episode ever that we've done here, and I think it's going to be really cool just because we're going to go over a lot of different topics, typical podcast style that a lot of you guys have seen from other people that do podcasts. Heck, my own podcast that I used to do before this are going to be just like this. Although I was telling everyone here, in my guests with me, and I'll introduce them just shortly. But next week, you guys are going to see a greatly different layout. We're using Google Hangouts for today, and it's still going to be Google Hangouts for the video, but you're going to see different layouts and the graphics and everything. And any type of stuff that comes in, you guys will see that pop up on the screen. But just for today, or for this first one, we are using Google Hangouts, but it's going to look a lot more cleaner in terms of stuff next week. So look forward to that as well. We're going to pretty much have it every single, probably Saturdays are probably the best days. Saturdays around this time, around 2:15 to 2:30. So just be on the lookout. Just make sure you subscribe. Obviously, a lot of you guys that are in here are already subscribed. So I do appreciate everyone that's here. So I'm just going to go from my left to my right. I'm going to start off with Andy. How you doing today, Andy?
I'm doing fine.
Cool. Andy is, and I'll introduce kind of like this podcast. It's a community podcast, but then I'm also going to have guests on that are kind of outside the community. Andy is one of the tier 3s. Really helps out with the channel, comes out to PE Arena, plays games with us. He's always in my live streams and everything. So he's on the podcast. So it's a community plus other people outside the community, guests as well. Next, we have Mama Mercy. How you doing today, Mama Mercy?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing good. Glad to have you here. And like I said, we need that woman's touch for the podcast. So glad to have you here, Mama Mercy. You've been a big supporter, you and your family. So I really do appreciate having you on for the podcast. Go ahead, Mama Mercy.
It was my dog.
Oh, a dog. And our guest for today, which I'm really excited to talk about. And really, he's our guest because he did a hilarious skit on me and Spawnwave and RGT, and I was like, this guy would probably be pretty cool to have on the podcast one of these days. So we have Potentially Perfect from the Potentially Perfect channel. Make sure you guys check him out. He does have a YouTube. You said it's a group of people, right? Potentially Perfect.
Correct. Yeah, it's a collaborative effort from all of us. Just making sure that we consider video games really fun, and we want to make sure that we keep the fun in video game amidst all the heated debate and stuff that happens. So yeah, that's what we do over there.
All right, awesome. So make sure you guys check out Potentially Perfect's channel. And of course, we'll have links to, because Mama Mercy doesn't have a channel, but, and Annie, you don't have a channel either, do you?
No.
One of these days.
I used to.
I do have a Twitch channel, but I haven't used it that much.
Oh, okay. Well, neither have I. haven't used mine either that much. So it's all good. It's all good there. So make sure you guys check out Potentially Perfect. And like I said, I'll link his channel towards the end too. So we're going to go ahead and start off with the topics. But first, I just want to talk about kind of what you guys have been playing lately. And I want to start off first. We'll go to with Potentially Perfect. He's our guest. So Potentially Perfect, man. What have you been playing lately, man?
Oh, man, I've been hitting up that indie flavor on the Switch lately. I just beat Faye. I just beat Owlboy. I've got to tell you, there's so much charm in those games, especially Owlboy. I know that just came onto the PlayStation and Xbox. If you have the chance, make sure to check that out. It was so heartwarming, and it's really interesting to see the risks that indie companies can take. So that's what I've been really playing lately.
Nice. I gotta check out Owlboy. Everyone talks about how good that game is.
Oh,
I gotta check it out. Good. Yeah, I gotta check that one out. So Mama Mercy, what have you been up to?
I have been practicing Splatoon so I can play with the community, and I've been playing Bayonetta 1.
Bayonetta 1. Okay, cool. That's awesome. Bayonetta 1, that's one of my favorite games of all time. So I mean, it's real quick before we get into the next thing here. Someone says, "Oh, this is literally a clone of the Spawn Cat." Shut up. First of all, people have been doing podcasts and asking people what they've been playing before John even made a channel. Stop it. I was going to go watch my podcast. Shut up. Really? Using Google Hangouts and having a podcast is a clone of something that people have been doing for years? Okay, moving on. Andy, what have you been playing lately, man?
Well, I've been playing Bayonetta 2 recently, but I haven't played anything new in a while.
Okay. I've been basically playing Ni no Kuni. Ni no Kuni is really good. I've been playing that, and I'm looking to get into God of War. That's I don't know if any of you guys are God of War fans, but looking to get into God of War. So So that's pretty much it. I played a little bit of Xeno, but not too much. I need to get into some of these indie games though, man. I want to play Owlboy. That's the game that, I mean, people have been talking about it so much. I want to play that, man. So it's kind of what I'm getting into. So all right, so we're gonna go ahead and get into some of the topics here, guys. We're gonna start off with some of the gaming news. Probably like the most recent thing. Then we'll get into some of the other stuff. Is the whole Sega event. So, I mean, I know a little bit about what Andy and Mama Mercy think because they were on my live stream when I was streaming it. But Potentially Perfect, man, what's your thoughts on the Sega event? Were you hyped for it at all, or what did you think about it?
Because I was watching it. I was actually watching it on Spawnwave because I don't know. I actually didn't even know what was happening until I saw a notification, and so I watched it. And they started, like, right before it started, they started playing Sonic Adventure music. I was like, oh no, are they gonna do it? I guess because I brought up the hype within myself about it. I guess I was kind of disappointed in some regards. I think Shenmue was crazy. Oh my goodness, that was crazy. But the Genesis classic, as it were, I'm not. They've already had one. I'm not looking to forward to that.
Okay. So, Mama Mercy, what do you think about the Sega event? I know we watched it live together. So, what do you think?
If you could even call that an event, I'm a Nintendo kid. I've been spoiled, like with our direct. So, if you could.
Oh, you kind of cut out, Mama Mercy. I don't think she cut out completely. All right, so we'll get back to Mama Mercy. Andy, what did you think about the event?
Well, it was definitely interesting, but there was, and Shenmue is amazing as such, even though I haven't played it. But yeah, some of the other things like Sega Ages and the Dreamcast Mini is unique, but not.
So you Sega Mega Drive Mini. Sega Mega Drive Mini.
Mega Drive. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. It was definitely unique, but it wasn't anything
not really your deal. Not really. Well, I mean, I'll talk about this because like I have a little bit to say about it. So basically, for me, the biggest thing was Shenmue. Like the biggest thing was Shenmue, having those 1 and 2. But I have a video that I talked about in a little bit. With this game, I had a video or with these games, and like. It seems like people are going crazy and happy about this whole thing because of incompetence from Sega. You know what I'm saying? Like because of the complete incompetence from Sega on their end and not getting these games. I mean, Shenmue should have been done already HD, like last generation. You know what I'm saying? Like, why do we have to wait this long for Shenmue? Like Sega has made every excuse in the book to not make Shenmue. And then like they have to go through a Kickstarter. So it's like licensing, like exactly like what is it? You know what I'm saying? Like exactly what is it with like Shenmue to the point to where we couldn't get Shenmue a long time ago, or we couldn't get these HD collections a long time ago. So for me, it was just like, I didn't. I thought that it was cool, but it was cool only the incompetence of Sega to be able to deliver the Shenmue HD like last generation, and it takes all the way up until this point, and then they didn't fund Shenmue 3 themselves. I don't know. That's just kind of just rubbed me the wrong way, man. I just thought that it should have been done a long time ago, and people are rewarding them for being ridiculously lazy when it comes to it because they make 50 Sonic games. They'll make 1 million Sonic games every single year.
More Sonic games than we asked for.
Yeah, they'll make Sonic game after Sonic game after Sonic game, so it is what it is.
And I think that just proves the point because, they'll put out Sonic games because Sonic is a proven formula, and I guess maybe it's just that whole risk thing behind it because, I mean, I can't imagine Sega's the type of company to continually take risks, even though, I mean, that's kind of what got them out of the hardware market. But yeah, I think maybe they saw the interest in Shenmue 3 and they were like, okay, because people are genuinely interested in Shenmue 3, this is the time to put out the HD versions 1 and 2. I don't know. They're doing some shady things over at Sega.
Are these games even that great?
Well, they're very well built, so.
I've played them. I mean, they're. I mean, they're cool. I mean, they do a lot of things. Like the thing about them is that they had a lot of stuff like before all that stuff got popular. Like for example, like QuickTime events, you know, like they were in Shenmue before a lot of other games started doing QuickTime events, like open world, like kind of like open worldish type of exploration. They were in that before it kind of got into there. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff that was like, for its time, it was really good. I don't know how well it's aged, but you know, at the same time, it's like, I mean, they're doing some stuff to modernize it, right? They're gonna put in new controls. There's a lot of side activities to do. There's a lot of other stuff. So I mean, it makes sense in terms of things, but at the same time, you know, like I think it's some people love them, some people hate them. I remember renting the games. I rented Shenmue 1 and Shenmue 2. I didn't beat either one of them, but I mean, I thought they were okay. But you know, it is what it is. You know, I mean, do any of you guys have any more thoughts about Shenmue in terms of like what's going on there?
Well, people are hyped at least that, you know, they can play it on the modern systems.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, I saw other people's, like, you know, guys like that I work with too. Like, I know like Dreamcast guy was super hyped. RGT was super hyped. I thought John from Spawnwave, he thought it was, you know, he thought it was pretty cool as well. So I mean, yeah, I mean, it looks cool. It looks cool. So I mean, moving on from Shenmue, what do you guys think about the Sega? What was it? Sega the collection? What was it? Sega Classics or something like that. I forgot what the name was of it, but they announced what was it? It was like a collection of Sega games that are coming to the Switch.
Let's not forget that they also announced a cloth and an amiibo.
They did, didn't they? Did they announce an amiibo?
I don't know. There was a little statue. Everybody was making fun of it being.
Oh no, it wasn't. I don't think it was an amiibo. I think it was just a little figurine.
Oh,
yeah.
In our stream, everybody was like, "Sega's trying to make amiibos."
the chat is coming through. We got people accusing me of copying the Smartcast, and then we've got them saying Sega Ages. I just didn't know somebody else couldn't make a name with Cast. I didn't know Cast was copyrighted. I'm sorry. I'm terribly sorry if the name Cast is copyrighted by John. I'm terribly sorry about that. Anybody that has Cast in the name of something, even if it's their own name, it sounds so similar. So I'm terribly sorry, John. If you're watching this, please have me on the show that I copied you about. Please have me on, man, because I put Essence in front of Cast. Oh my gosh!
We are not the Spawncast. I promise.
Oh my gosh! Nobody can have Cast at the end of their name.
How dare you, OJ?
I mean, seriously, the last time I looked, John's podcast or John's channel started like in 2016, so nobody did that before 2016. But anyway, Sega Ages, that's the name that they're talking about. So it's going to have more than 15 classic games on there. So 15 classic games, and then we have somebody coming through and saying, "Stop copying Dreamcast guy by talking about Sega." Stop copying Dreamcast guy by talking about Sega. So Sega Ages. What do you guys think about the Sega Ages? I mean, they only announced 3 games. Sonic. Also, what else? Thunder Force 4, and then one more game, but I forgot what the game was. I forgot the
I can play Sonic on my Switch.
Well, we already have Sonic Mania, which is better than Sonic. And that's what. And
go ahead.
Well, I still don't know if this is either, you know, a collection of games or, you know, a program to sort of release these games like the Virtual Console. But I still don't understand how they are going to release this.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be through the eShop. So it's just going to be straight up through the eShop. They're just going to release these a collection of games through the eShop. I mean, everyone's now saying like the new thing now is like, oh well, they like Virtual Console's dead now because of this. You know, that's what everyone's been saying. You know, lately, Virtual Console's dead. So I mean, I don't really know what's going on. I mean, Sega, they answered a lot of questions, but then they brought up a bunch of other questions. Potentially perfect. What do you think about the Sega Ages? Are you into classic games like that at all? Or
well, if I don't know if you guys know this, but this is actually the second, at least the second time I believe that they're doing a Sega Ages. There was a Sega Ages on the PlayStation 2, and I don't know. I'd personally rather see them bring something like Persona over. But I mean, for the time being, if this is their way of quote unquote showing support, there are going to be some people who are happy with it. Depending on the games, it really does depend on the games. If we're seeing like Sega Ages, oh, it's just Genesis, Mega Drive games. Okay, that's fine. But if they're going like Crazy Taxi, Sonic Adventure, even Nights into Dream, something like that, something crazy like that, Panzer Dragoon, yes, okay, that is something I can get behind. But if they're just rehashing the same, basically Sonic Plus collections that they've been doing before, I can't. I think I'll pass.
Why are you hating on Sega? Potentially Perfect.
I'm not hating on Sega. I just like I have a standard of quality that I expect, and they can't keep rehashing it with me.
Okay, my bad. I'm just joking. So, Phantasy Star. Phantasy Star is the third game that they. You know, my biggest issue is, and I talk about this. I have a video that I'll be editing after this podcast, guys. But where I talk about this more in depth. But like, I think my biggest issue is like this. Literally, was like a live streamed PR release. You know what I'm saying? Like the dude's sitting there and he's reading it, and like they have no video, like no real footage. Like, hey, here's a trailer for this. Okay, hey, we have this Sega Ages coming to the Switch. Look at these games that you can play. You know, like I mean, because they show the Mega Drive system. Okay, fine, that's cool. But did you guys all know that Nintendo announced the Super Nintendo Classic at a PR release? You know, and showed some pictures. I mean, and they told us the games that were going to be on there. I think they told us the games that are going to be on there. So we found out about the games. Like Sega didn't even tell us the games. They just showed a picture of it. And people are like, oh, Mega Drive Classic. Like, this isn't the first time Sega's done a mini console. So to me, it just seems like everything here was like super overhyped, and like incompetence has led this to where we are at this point. The fact that they can't get things together, because this is not the first Sega mini console that's been out there. You can go buy them at the like at Target and at Walmart for like, you know, $30, $40 or whatever. Like there's these little miniature, or maybe a little bit more than that, but there's these little miniature Sega consoles that you can hook up, and there's like 80 games on there. So I mean, like the fact that people are like, oh, this is like a completely new thing. It's like, it just looks different. They've been doing these mini console stuff for a while now. I mean, obviously it looks better because it's like shaped after the Mega Drive, but I mean, I don't know. To me, the event just seemed kind of wonky. It seemed kind of put together at the last minute for somebody, you know, for a company this big and this professional. So I mean, I don't know. Mama Mercy, I don't know. Did you have anything to add in terms of like what they did there, like with the Sega and the Sega Ages? So
I'm not impressed.
Not impressed.
Nor am I getting any of the games?
You don't want any classic Phantasy Star, Mama Mercy? Why are you hating on Phantasy Star?
What is Phantasy Star?
Oh no. Oh no.
Maybe I'll pick up that one because I've heard you talk about it.
No. Yeah, I mean, well, it's RPG. It's a classic RPG.
But I have RPGs in the here and now that I need to play.
Yeah, I know. Seriously, my backlog is crazy. All right, so we got some people saying that Scarlett says I'm calling Sega out, and yeah, kind of. I mean, just because, listen, guys, listen. Like, in my opinion, it shouldn't have taken. Like, I'm not trying to hate on them. Like, I'm not trying to hate on people who like it, but in my opinion, like Shenmue was the Dreamcast. The Dreamcast was a long time ago. These games came out in 1999 and I think 2000 or something like that, or 1998, 99, or whatever. You know, early 2000s, late 90s. And the fact that we had to wait this long to get it, and the fact that we didn't even get a real Shenmue 3 from Sega. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a Kickstarter. It's like been 5 years since they announced it. Like, to me, it's just all a mess. You know, it's like, okay, well, you're releasing Shenmue 1 and 2. It's a PS4 exclusive in Japan. There's no Switch version at all. Apparently, Liam Robertson said that the game was supposed to, the Switch version, or no, not the Switch version, that the games were supposed to release in 2017, but were delayed to 2018 for more time for the controls and stuff. So to me, it just kind of shows like Sega being Sega. I mean, this is a company that does some good things, but I mean, they still can't get their mascot right. You know, when Sonic Mania is good. Sonic Mania is good. They still can't get their 3D Sonic game right. No, they still won't localize Phantasy Star Online, you know, for people to just play. Like they won't give any reasons why they won't. It just seems to me it's just more kind of stuff from Sega, and no company's perfect. And look, I'm not trying to sit here and think it's like I'm not sitting here crying in my room about Sega. Okay, like that's not happening. I don't really care that much. I'm just giving my opinion on what Sega is kind of doing with this. So to me, it just seems like they're kind of like playing off, like standing on like a soapbox and saying, hear ye, we have this that you guys wanted. We won't show you anything. And like the Sakura Wars, like they showed nothing, which is fine, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It just seemed to be like it was just like a half-baked event.
Which
my
is
opinion.
the only game that interests me.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. It is what it is. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna move on from Sega. We'll see what happens with them. Happens with them there. All right, so let's go ahead and we're gonna move on to the next topic here. We can get into some of the core stuff that we were talking about here. So we have the Pokemon localization rumors. So basically, what's going on? There's a dude by the name of Pixelpar who's been right on a few different things. Somewhat bigger Twitter user. I don't know how to say it. And he put out some information saying that he can confirm with his sources that that Pokemon, the localization is going down. So basically what that means, for those who don't know, localization for Western territories, for other languages, that's all going down. So that means the Japanese is complete. That means the game is complete. That's essentially what he's saying here. When the localization, I mean, obviously there's probably some stuff that they have to spruce up, get rid of any last bugs or anything like that. But the localization is going down. So Nintendo Treehouse has the game code and they're like, okay, yeah, we're translating it. You know what I'm saying? So that would probably point to a 2018 release. And then you combine that with one of the other things that we'll talk about later in this podcast, which is Yokai Watch. That is coming out in summer. So some people say, okay, wow, they're putting it in summer, and then it's probably going to be a fall for Pokemon. So they're making sure that there's space between them. So that's where people are kind of going with that. So potentially perfect. We'll start with you again. Pokemon, are you into Pokemon at all? And what do you think about this news? I mean, what do you think overall?
Oh, I'm very into Pokemon. The news both validates some of my concerns that I've had about the Pokemon Switch game that's been coming up. As far as it seems like it went really quickly. They went from having nothing to show us at all to localization, and made that might lead to what the game is going to be when it finally comes out. If it's the full vast experience that all of us have hyped ourselves up to for no reason, actually. We kind of did it to ourselves if we're not impressed with what happens. But yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic. That's what I'll put it out right now.
Okay. What did you think before this news? I mean, just aside from this news, did you think that Pokemon was going to be 2018 or did you think it was going to be 2019?
It's funny. I thought it was going to be at towards the beginning of next year. Just made up for the longest time up until they said they wanted to do 20 million. And I was like, oh no, Pokemon's 2018. That's it. I don't really know any other franchises other than maybe Smash. It depends on how good Smash is, but yeah, it's just one of those franchises that will sell consoles. And if you're putting the benchmark there, which they always beat, so if you're putting it there, that means you've got something cooking. And I think this Pokemon's going to be really special, but I'm trying to hold back my hype a little bit.
Hold it back just a little bit. All right, Mama Mercy, how do you feel about Pokemon in terms of what's going on here? Do you think it's going to be 2018 or 2019? What's your deal on this here?
I have always thought it was going to be 2018.
Really?
After they announced that Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon was going to be on the 3DS, and that was last year, I figured that was Game Freak's last hurrah on the 3DS. Okay. I wasn't surprised by the announcement at E3 because it's one of their cornerstone franchise. I mean, we're getting Metroid Prime. I was more shocked by Metroid Prime 4 than I was by Pokemon.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were shocked with the Metroid Prime because they thought that it was dead because the last Metroid game that we got, at least Metroid Prime, was 2017 or sorry, 2007. 2007. I was a young OJ in college back then, so it was a long time ago. The last time that I played a Metroid Prime game, a real Metroid Prime game.
Well, we did get a Metroid Prime game, not a Prime, but a Metroid game last year. So
that was 2 years ago. You talk about that blast ball,
normal Metroid, the 2D ones.
Samus Returns.
Oh, Samus Returns. Yes. Okay, yeah, Samus Returns. Okay, I thought you were talking about a 3D Metroid Prime Federation. I thought you were talking about Metroid Prime because it's called Metroid Prime Federation Force. I was like, oh, that was 2 years. Oh, that was going on 2 years ago. And screw that game,
But if I remember correctly, a lot of people were saying when Sun and Moon came out that the characters were very easy to scale to 1080p.
Mm-hmm.
They were saying basically what they were saying is that they already have HD renders of all the different Pokemon and characters and stuff like that.
Which tells me Game Freak has been cooking something. They just they pulled a PR move. They don't want anybody to know that they're bringing it to the Switch, or they didn't want anybody to know that they were bringing it to the Switch.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Andy, what are your thoughts on Pokemon? Did you think it was going to be 2018, or how do you feel about this game? Do you feel that this game is going to set Pokemon on a whole new track? How do you feel? How about that? How do you feel about that?
Well, I did feel like it pretty much could come out in 2018 at the earliest.
Okay.
And while I'm not the biggest Pokemon fanboy or anything like that,
Get out. I'm joking.
Yeah, so I do feel like this is gonna be definitely huge. I'm at least interested.
Okay, yeah, I think the Pokemon franchise, I think for a lot of people, especially in today's like modern day, they want to see like the Pokemon franchise evolve from like the little sprites, you know, like they want to see them animate better. They want to see them, which they've made some big strides. I mean, if you look at Pokemon, you know, X and Y on the 3DS, then you look at Pokemon Sun and Moon, or Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, they've actually gotten quite a bit better over the years in the Pokemon games. So
they're
yeah,
pushing the game to see what they can do.
I think the biggest thing for me with this new game is I really just want to see them. I want to see what they do with like the Pokemon animations and like the state, like the animations in the battle system. That is to me is like the core. And like, I want to see if they're actually tweaking with that formula, because they've pretty much used the same formula forever. They haven't changed the core basic formula, which is like pretty much every franchise that Pokemon has been around since then. They've all changed the formula, right? Like Nintendo even has changed Mario, what Mario can do. Kind of like, I mean, it's still a platformer, but there's all different types of Marios and stuff like that. Even like with the mainline Marios, like Odyssey, if you look at Odyssey and you compare that to Galaxy, or if you look at some of the other games, there's always some different mechanics that they can put in and different stuff that they do. So, I mean, I'm interested to see, whereas Pokemon, I mean, they've added in some things, but for the most part, it's just pretty much been turn-based, like just turn-based. You know, like there hasn't really been any evolution to the battle system. So, you know, for me, I mean, I'd probably say like for me, and we'll go around the table here, but like the biggest thing that I want to see change. So I'll ask you guys one thing that you want to see change. The biggest thing that I want to see change is you shouldn't have forever to attack. Because I think that's the one thing that I disliked, because like I watched the anime before I played the games, and you can't just sit there and wait. You know what I'm saying? Like you tell them, then they attack. They try to make it like a turn-based type of deal in the show, but it's like one person says something and the next person tries to counter, or they do something. So I just want to see like a timer, either whether it's actually changing the battle system to where it's ATB, active time battle, or it's just saying you got like 10 seconds, like pick an attack. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to see one or the other, one of those two. Either you put an ATB system in there and you balance it in terms of speed and all that to an ATB, or you literally put a timer on there and say you've got this X amount of seconds to attack, and that's that. If you don't, you lose your turn, or it just picks a random one, or the Pokemon gets confused. I don't know. Like I want to see them do something. So that'd be the one thing that I want to see them do. I just hate taking, like when I'm playing people online in Diamond and Pearl, because I was a huge competitive Diamond and Pearl player. Like I hate, like it'll take a whole minute and a half, like to attack. It's like this man's planning out his next 15 moves. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not having this. So we'll start with Andy. Andy, if there's one thing that you can see changed, what would you like to see changed, man?
Well, I haven't played the games enough to really understand it.
Okay. So that's fine. So this might be you can get into this one and see how you like it. Mama Mercy, what about you? If there's one thing that you can change, what would it be?
I definitely agree with you about the battle system. I would like to see something return. I would like them to go back to where your Pokemon can follow you.
Oh, yeah. Like Pokemon Yellow, if I don't remember. That one, Pikachu would like follow behind you.
And Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
There's the other one.
Yeah. Okay. So you want Pokemon just so that's your big thing. Is like I gotta have those Pokemon.
Well,
gotta have those Pokemon behind
the battle system. Like that was my. I want like anime level battle system going on.
Oh.
I wanna feel like, you know, that heart thumping being in battle. I want some Pokken tournament battles.
Okay. Nice. All right. So potentially perfect. What's your thoughts on what would you, the one thing, I mean, you can say the same thing as me, or you can kind of elaborate more on there, or whatever you want.
No, I think it's really interesting in the Pokemon community, the idea of the battle system being altered in the sense that like it would follow Final Fantasy style kind of turn-based combat where you'd have the timer. I think a lot of the people who grew up with Pokemon would like to see that, but the accessibility might be something that they might worry about because at its core, Pokemon is still a game that's geared towards children. You can see it in its latest iterations. The easiest RPG I've ever played was Pokemon Sun and Moon, and so. If they're not going to iterate on the battle system, what I'd like to see them do is really flesh out the environments and the way you would interact with the environments. I'd like to see a camera that I can move. That would be really cool. And I like that what they did with the character customization, making the character your own. That's really cool and all. But I'd like to see the co-op go beyond like a little Battle Frontier type thing. I'd like to be able to like run around with my friends.
Yeah, I'd love that. I would love co-op.
Yeah.
In Pokemon.
That'd be awesome. Do some double battles against people like, running around and stuff like that. That'd be really cool to see.
You know what I would like now that you bring that up, like a co-op campaign, like a little maybe a side story. Like maybe after you beat the main story, you can do a co-op campaign with a buddy. Like it's in like the extra stuff, where you have like a whole co-op campaign, or even if it was like a DLC that they released afterwards, even if it was something like that, I think that would be cool as well. So yeah, I agree.
Can I say something perfect?
Sure.
I know that Nintendo thinks that the way Pokemon is the easiest way for kids. But to be honest, my kids have not gotten to play Pokemon yet, especially my 4-year-old, because he can't read. He loves Pokemon, but can't play it because he doesn't understand what the attacks do. So if each button was an attack, he would know how to smash your Pokemon. He can play Smash Brothers. He can play Pokken.
Well, I mean, I think you're. I mean, if you just handed it to your son and just kind of let him play around with it, I think he'll eventually pick up on it.
He'll pick it up.
Yeah. He'll eventually pick up on it, and I mean, but yeah, it is. The games overall are still like, if you're not paying attention, you might get lost. And like, if you're playing Pokemon Red and Blue, you might get lost. Like, as a younger kid, you might get lost, might not know where to go. So I know they've tried to do their best to like even gear it down a little bit more because the show was Y7, So I mean, they would like to get people at Y7, but even kids that are that young sometimes have problems getting through Pokemon games. So I see what you're saying potentially. That's what you're saying, Mama Mercy, in terms of the game and kind of what they were doing there. But yeah, the target audience is 10, like 10 years old. It's 10-year-olds. That's the target. They want to get them there because they know they're not going to go anywhere. But they know they're not going anywhere. It's not because they want to just target, that audience. Okay, that's what we want. It's like they know that if they get them at 10, chances are they'll play it at 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and then all the way up. I mean, I'm 31 and I'm still like, hey, what's up with Pokemon? You know what I'm saying? And that's around the age that I got into Pokemon. I was right at their target age when Pokemon came out, 1990.
Actually, now that I think about it, I changed my answer. When Pokemon comes out on the Switch, I would like to see modes. I would like an easy mode where my 4-year-old could play it, a hard mode where my 10-year-old could play it, and then or a normal mode for my 10-year-old who can read, and then for us adults who grew up with Pokemon, they have a hard mode.
Yeah.
Because
that'd be good. Shout outs to is it Cyanide Spirit with the $5 donation through Super Chat. Thank you. I appreciate that. And he says, I don't know if any of you have played Pokemon Reborn, but they should make it like that. Okay, so Pokemon Reborn, for those who don't know, that is a fan-made Pokemon game. So they take the DS engine or something like that, and they actually make it to where people would like it more. They actually all the things that people don't like about it, the hardcore fans, they put that stuff in so Pokemon follow behind you. Things like that, reshuffling the move sets and what you get. I think there's even built-in Nuzlockes with some of them. I'm not sure, or making it harder. So I was watching Shofu, who's a Pokemon type of YouTuber, and he was playing that. So because I wanted to see what this is all about. So basically, this person, Cyanide Spirit, is saying that they should make it like that. Which I mean, that would be great, right? If they made it like Pokemon Reborn. But the chances of them doing that are slim, but you never know. But you never know. You never know what's going to happen. So I think that's enough on Pokemon. It seems like we all got our opinions out on there. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next topic here. But thank you so much, Cyanide Spirit. I do appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, obviously having it like Pokemon Reborn would be awesome because there's a good challenge. There's alternate endings. There's good endings. There's bad endings in these games. There's all sorts of cool stuff in some of these fan games. But I mean, we'll see. I mean, I would hope, but I don't know about it. But yeah, I agree. Pokemon, like Pokemon Reborn would be cool. Good writing too in a lot of these games, much better writing, more balanced out writing, and not so cheesy at times. And so I don't know if the best word is kiddie, but like the writing's much better in some of these games too.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So
that would be another fun thing to pick the age of your character.
It's like you can pick like an older. Well, all the stories always start out as like you're of the age to go on a Pokemon journey. So so it would have to be like maybe you didn't feel like going back when you were 10. Like you had to come back, and see if you
like you're retired and now you're all bitter because everyone.
What happened to you? Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, having all these different ideas would be fun, right? I'm pretty sure they've toyed around with lots of different stuff. So cool stuff there. That was good Pokemon discussions. Let's go and move on to the next thing here. We're going to talk about Nintendo working on a new system, which I'm not going to spend too much time on this one. I think that it's pretty much a given. But I wanted to get, since potentially Perfect is our guest, we're going to go ahead and start off with you again. So the news came out. So Shinya Takahashi, who's one of the researchers and developers and main dudes over at Nintendo, they won like a bunch of I think it's called BAFTA, BAFTA or something like that. It's like in Europe or something. Awards. They won multiple ones, and Shinya Takahashi was there to accept some of the awards that Nintendo won for the Switch and everything. And he essentially had there was one question. He was like, "Oh yeah, we're already working on new hardware, and hopefully you guys can see it, in the next couple of years. Hopefully you guys will be able to play it." So everyone kind of came out and said, "Oh well, Nintendo's working on a new system." Then we've got some rumors from some people out there saying, "Oh, Nintendo's going to work on a new dedicated system." I'm thinking it's more of like a new Nintendo Switch. So potentially, what's your thoughts? Just what on Nintendo? I think this is a better question for because everyone already knows that they're working on new hardware as soon as the current hardware comes out. But what do you think Nintendo could do next? What do you feel that they're going to do?
I think they're in a good spot right now as far as blanket hardware. Like the hardware itself is fine. If they wanted to iterate on it, they definitely could. There are definitely things that a lot of fans would like to have seen. I still personally think it's a little early, but I mean, if it's literally a few years down the road, that's fine as far as iteration goes. I don't want to see a new dedicated thing right now because I bought 2 Switches. I'd be pretty salty then. But yeah, no, I think as far as iteration goes, maybe something like, I don't know, better battery life, something like that. There's nothing really that really comes to mind that I feel is a serious flaw within the system that needs to be addressed immediately. I think it's fine, other than maybe the headset thing, but that's just me wanting something.
What if you want to back up your saves? What if something happens to your Switch?
That's something that can be done at a firmware level. That's not something that requires a whole new console. So
agreed on that. I was just being stupid. The joke was on me because you weren't even talking about it from a hardware level. So I tried to be smart and it ended up backfiring. So Mama Mercy, what are your thoughts in terms of what would you like to see? Would you like to see because some people are saying this could be a successor to the 3DS. So would you be if it was let's just say it was a new dedicated handheld, would you want that? A new dedicated, let's say it played Switch games and it was just a dedicated handheld. Would that be something that you'd want? Like a
kid version?
Maybe a smaller Switch that it doesn't hook into a dock. I don't know. It just
or the Joy-Cons don't come off.
Yeah, the Joy-Cons don't come off. It's just a small, maybe it's the size of a new Nintendo 3DS, the top screen. Maybe it's the size of that, and then obviously it's going to be a little bit thinner, or something like that. But I mean, I'm looking at my Switch, so yeah, smaller than the Switch. Maybe the screen's not as big.
I mean, I know personally there are a lot of kids who want the Switch, but parents are scared by the $300 price tag. My kids are the cool kids because I'm a gaming parent and I bought them a Switch.
You bought them each a Switch, or you just?
They have one currently, but I see a second Switch in my future.
Christmas time is coming up, maybe. Yeah. So
yeah. But my kids are the cool kids on the block because they have their own Switch. Mm-hmm. Most kids asked for a Switch for Christmas and got a 3DS.
Ooh. Bro, that's like the equivalent of almost coal. No, I'm joking. I mean, the 3DS is legit. 3DS actually, there's a lot of good games.
But it's not the Switch. It's not Splatoon and Mario Kart 8 and all the games my kids have.
Yeah.
You can't play Portal Knights on the Switch or on the 3DS.
No, you can't.
But
you can play Fire Emblem Awakening. But you can play Fire Emblem Awakening, which all kids should play, right?
Oh,
That's true. That's
That
true.
is today's version of chest.
I know if kids look at Fire Emblem, they're gonna be like, "When does Fortnite come out for this?" Like,
My kids actually like Fire Emblem.
my daughter hates it.
My oldest would sit on the couch with me and watch me play it.
Okay, that's
Fire Emblem was like spinach for me. Yeah, I had to grow into it.
You know what it is? At first, you look at it, you're like, "Ew!" Like, oh, like I didn't like Fire Emblem when I was younger, growing up. Didn't like Fire Emblem. Even when I was older, like when I was in my 20s, like my early 20s, not a Fire Emblem fan. And I played them. I played Sacred Stones with the 3DS Ambassador program thingy. I've played them before. Like I rented the one on the Wii. I just never got into it, but it wasn't until Awakening. For some reason, I took a shot on it. I was like, you know what? I don't like Fire Emblem, but I saw all the reviews, like the reviews for Awakening. You guys remember the reviews back in 2013? Everyone was
Awakening was my first tactics game. I ran from them. Skit's been trying to get me to play them for years.
Me too. I was just like, we were both running at the same time since we're around the same age, Mama Mercy. So we were both running in like, you know, like just like, and I don't know. I just gave it a shot. I didn't have much money back then. I just gave it a shot. I just spent the little money that I had extra, you know, for the month, or you know, on it, and it did really well. It did well for me because it became one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah,
real quick,
it grabbed my anime bone. I was like, this game looks awesome.
Real quick before we get into Andy's thoughts on this, thank you to Scarlet Dreams. I appreciate you, Scarlet, and she says that can't wait for when My Hero comes to the Switch. We also need a base of massively multiplayer online RPG for the Switch. Where can we can all get together and quest? Yeah, absolutely. If you know, remember that company that we were talking about, Sega. If they were stop being talking about this, if they would stop being incompetent, there is a game on the Switch that's like that. It's called Phantasy Star Online 2. You know, Cloud Edition. There is a game, but they refuse to localize this game. They refuse to localize it. So there is a game, and Phantasy Star Online is actually really good. So getting back to Andy, what are your thoughts, man, on this whole new Nintendo console? What would you like to see from it, you know, in terms of new Nintendo hardware?
Well, I would like to sort of see it continue like the hybrid aspect of the Switch. Like, I feel like it's hard for Nintendo to make a new dedicated handheld again. You know, with mobile phone and what happened to the 3DS at launch.
True.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah, but do you think that if it was a dedicated handheld Switch, you know, so you could still play Switch games, but it's just like a dedicated handheld. But I see what you're saying. Like, to lose the functionality of being able to play on the TV, to me, that's like cutting half of the system. Like, it's like cutting the system in half at this point, right? Like,
well, if they market it towards kids, that's what parents want. We don't want them on our TV.
That's true.
It might also be like a price point thing too. If they were to do a dedicated handheld Switch, it would just be in the sense that it would make it a cheaper production cost to get it out there to people who want to give it to their kids but don't want to spend that $300. Maybe they want to spend $199, you know, on it, on a system that their kids might break. You never know.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of parents who are more than happy to drop $200 on a 3DS.
$150 even too.
Now $150 if you get it without the 3D.
Yeah, which is better in my opinion. Kids shouldn't be looking at 3D like that anyway. Like 3D is it's not worth it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not worth the potential. Even if your eyes will probably be fine, but it's still not, as your eyes are growing. You know, they're still developing. It's not worth potentially having your eyes damaged over some 3D. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like,
I turned it off after 5 minutes anyway.
3D.
Yeah, so
it gives me headaches.
After I turned it on.
Yeah, I was done with it. Yeah, it didn't take long. Even with I have like a new Nintendo 3DS, where it's a super stable 3D. Even that, I'm like, no, like there's not enough incentive. So I mean, for me, and I think for a lot of parents, I mean, like the new Nintendo 3DS XL or new Nintendo 2DS XL, that thing's like always sold out, like at the stores that I'm at. Like every time I go there, there's only like a couple left. And like the 3DSs, like the new Nintendo 3DSs are there. Like you can buy like the Galaxy one in my town. You can buy like also different types of one. But that new Nintendo 2DS XLs and stuff, those are always gone or very low in stock. Because like parents like, okay, I get this $50 cheaper and worthless 3D, you know, for the most part. I mean, and I know there's people out there that I know there's going to be people in the chat that say, "Oh, well, 3D does this." I mean, I get it. I get it. I understand people like 3D, but I don't know if it's worth $50 in my opinion.
$50 for a migraine.
Yeah. I don't know if it's worth $50. So yeah. Oh, go ahead, Mama Mercy.
I mean, I could see this going one or two ways. Either they're making a cheaper Switch that people could buy for their kids, or they're making a stronger Switch with like better battery life, maybe a better Integra chip. One of those two.
Or a 1080 screen on the handheld mode. Hey.
Yeah.
Hey.
like we had the 3D, and then we got the 3D XL, and then we got the new 3D XL. So it's probably going to be an upgrade.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Downgrade.
That's what I'm thinking. It's going to be a downgrade.
It's considered a downgrade.
The 2DS is definitely considered a downgrade, but the 2DS XL is potentially considered an upgrade, even though it's a downgrade, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, my kids were unfortunate to get stuck with the wedge. So
that's a cheap wedge. That's a cheap wedge of cheese, though. I mean, it's $79 or something for that thing.
I call it the doorstop.
I paid $80 for each of them, and they came with Mario Kart 7. So
yeah. That's
a good deal for kid. I mean, I bought my daughter a 2DS, right? And I don't even know where it's at. So
I sold my kids 2DSs to get a Switch.
Well, I don't think they're upset. You know, I don't.
Oh no, I gave them the choice. It was like, you guys can keep your 2DSs, or we can buy a Switch, and they were like, Switch, automatically.
Shout outs to is it Kuato 1174 Games Plus. I wanted to read this one out. He donated $4.99 through Super Chat. He says, "Rip donations through Streamlabs. Don't know if you got it though, but would like Pokemon 2018 to add their own version of randomizer and Nuzlocke. Yeah, that'd be cool, but I just don't know if that's going to happen. And guys, I'm terribly sorry. Like, I just want to make sure that since we have a lot of people watching that are probably going to be tuning in every week, guys. The show is not going to be just Google Hangouts. We're just doing this for today. I'm right in the middle of fixing some issues. Next week, the show is going to be completely different. You're going to have a custom layout. You're going to have video chat just like this right here, but it's going to be completely custom in terms of the layout. You're going to have the Streamlabs pop up. You're going to have all that. So I do appreciate that. I just have to look at a whole separate thing for Streamlabs. So Streamlabs does go through, and I'll make sure to read it out. But thank you. I do appreciate that. You can still use Streamlabs down. So if you want to use Streamlabs, guys, you can do it. And I'll read your comment if you want to use Streamlabs. You don't have to use Super Chat. You can use whatever you want. So, but yeah, it all comes up. I have it up here on my screen. So, but I just want to let you guys know this is just for this week because we're just getting it going. And next week is going to be completely custom layout like I do for all my other live streams. So yeah, thank you. I do appreciate the support, Kwato. And yeah, definitely. That would be dope. I mean, if they did like a Pokemon randomizer and Nuzlocke and like challenges built in, I'd want that, but I just don't think they're going to. I just don't think they're going to. So, all right.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button. There you go. Mama Mercy. I appreciate that. Andy, Andy, you want to go ahead and add one more thing, Andy?
No.
No?
OJ, if you don't mind, I'm about to set your stream on fire.
What are you going to do?
My kids sold their PS4 for a Switch.
Oh my God.
They came to me and told me they would rather have a Switch than their PS4.
I don't want these angry Sony fans getting mad at me. They were already mad at me a couple years ago.
They're already typing on Twitter right now.
Yeah, when I called Sony frauds, they never forgave me for that. When I called Sony frauds, and even though I had perfectly good logic in the video, they never forgave me for that. I've been trying to earn their forgiveness ever since then.
It's okay. I'll fix
Sony's media team are a bunch of frauds. I'll go ahead and say it again. They're not Sony themselves, but Sony's media, the people who handle YouTube, they're frauds. They are complete frauds. But I'm not going to get into all that again. But yeah, Sony fans, I'm sorry, Sony fans.
Still a PS4 in the house. That's how I played Persona 5.
You got to play Persona 5.
That was a wonderful game.
Yeah, really.
200 hours of my life well spent.
I put 80 something into it and I beat it and it was great. It was great. I really need to go back in though. But I've been holding out for I don't want to go back in because I've been holding out for that sliver of hope for a Switch version. I'm like, well, if I play it again like that, I don't want to play it again on the Switch. I mean, I'm holding out that sliver of hope for a Switch version one of these days, but it's been a year.
I will double dip if there is a Switch version.
Yeah, me too.
I haven't played it.
Oh man, you got a PS4, Andy?
Yeah, but to be honest, I hardly use it anymore.
Oh,
that is the same sad truth here.
I'll be honest, guys. I don't play my PS4 much, but I do think it's a great system. I am buying God of War, so I am streaming God of War. Yeah, so God of War is looking look, the combat is looking okay, but I need to play it. But the story,
I heard the story's where it's at.
Yeah, but I've always played God of War games for the stories because, in my opinion, God of War has always been below Bayonetta and Devil May Cry in terms of stylish action. I never thought God of War was as good as those games, so it was always a step down anyway from the top games, you know, at the top. But it was up there. But for me, the story was always better than like Devil May. Like God of War story always blows out Bayonetta and Devil May Cry, you know. So for me, it was always about the story. So and God of War came out before Bayonetta and came out not before Devil May Cry, but came out before Bayonetta. So, you know.
God of War was my I had a bad day at school or work game. I just went and slaughtered everything.
To be honest, I've done that many times. I'm just going to play some God of War.
Now that game is Overwatch.
Overwatch. I can't get into Overwatch. I
really tried with Overwatch. Yeah.
I just can't get into the whole like you play for skins, you know, like that's just not something that I'm like, you play for skins and taunts and hey, look at me, I can dance now, I'm funny. Like it's like, you know, it's just I can't waste my time on that. I'd rather play like an RPG that's going to be more fulfilling than the repetitive, you know, just repeating the same thing over and over in seasons and artificial types of things that they do. But shout outs to Overwatch. I know pretty much everyone likes that game, right? So
I mean,
it's a good game for me and skits because it's like 15 minutes for a round, and then I can go deal with kids.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I used to play it a lot, but I eventually got tired of it last year.
I'm not hating on it though. I think it's a great game. Like I actually have it. I have it on the PS4 behind me.
Yeah, I remember that.
PS4 you never play anymore.
Well, I bought it back in the day and I played it for a bit. You know, I mean, I played I'll play Sony exclusives. You know, like I'll play I've played all of Sony's exclusives so far. Like it's just Sony spaces their exclusives out. You know what I'm saying? Like ones that I'm interested in at least. Like they have great games like Horizon Zero Dawn. I think that's a good game. I think Ratchet and Clank is good. They've got God of War coming here. The Last of Us, people love that game. I don't like it as much, but people love The Last of Us. I got my PS4 Last of Us. Bloodborne was good. So it's just, to me, it's just really spaced out in their games, but they do have some good stuff. So, all right. So we're going to go ahead and move on from that in terms of the GameStop CEO with Capcom and all that. So guys, we will have a little bit of a Q&A at the end. So if you have any questions, just hold on to them and we'll get those answered. We'll get those answered in at the end in terms of your questions. So we're going to move on to the Nintendo's deal with SNK, which I thought this was a hilarious.
Hang on. The next thing is the GameStop CEO states, and I think I haven't talked about that yet.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, we did not. I was about to skip over that. I don't like GameStop, so I saw GameStop. No joke. I saw GameStop. I was like, all right, skip it. I thought it was something else. I thought it was like a rant on GameStop. Like, I thought it was like one of my ideas for my show. So like for like a video, and I saw GameStop, and I was like, oh, okay, that's going to be ranting on something. That's not for this show. I literally just did that right now. Sorry about that. Okay, so yeah, GameStop CEO states that there's multiple unannounced Switch games. So basically, you know, some people, depending on, you know, what games that you like, obviously what you've played on the Wii U, whether you're willing to play games again, whether it's Bayonetta and stuff. Some people feel that the first half for Nintendo wasn't necessarily as strong as they would have liked. They had Kirby, they have Mario Tennis Aces, they have Donkey Kong, they have Hyrule Warriors, they had Bayonetta 1 and 2, so they had plenty of games. But so a lot of them are, you know, 3 of them are ports with 2 new games. So some people are like, oh, well, there's only 2 new games in the first half, and even then, it's tennis and it's Kirby. Some people, you know, whatever. So the second half, though, according to this GameStop CEO, there's multiple unannounced games in terms of Switch games. That's going to create a very, very strong 2018. So we'll start off with our guest here, Potentially Perfect. What do you think about this, man? Like, what games? I think this is probably a better question that we can all go over, because this is just, we all know Nintendo has unannounced games, right? It's like, what? Yeah. Nintendo has games, you know? Like, so Potentially Perfect, what games do you think these are in terms of, like, let's just say first party Nintendo games? Mm-hmm. They're going to be,
yeah, for GameStop's sake, they need them to be heavy hitters. So I'm thinking it's going to be like, they're going to be big. They're going to be Animal Crossing, I think, is this year. That's going to be crazy. And the other one, it's more niche, but I think we're going to see Pikmin. At least, even if we don't see it this year, it's going to be very early next year. I think they're going to continue the momentum that they have with the short spaces between each release. And I think we're going to see finally a GameCube port maybe of Mario Odyssey. I mean, not Mario Odyssey. It's Mario Sunshine. Sorry, Mario Sunshine.
Did you say Super Smash Brothers Melee? I'm pretty sure you just said Super Smash
Oh,
Brothers.
no, I can't. I'm sorry. I'm not one of those guys. I can't. I hate Melee.
I could have sworn I heard people say, "Oh, I think we can see a GameCube Super Smash Brothers Melee." Okay, good pick.
It only has 2 characters, OJ. There's only Fox and Falco. That's it.
You've obviously never seen Armada's Peach. You've obviously never seen Armada's Peach. Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. Definitely some good stuff there. What is your thoughts potentially on like what would be like a wild card game? So I'll ask that too. Like, what's like one wild card game do you think that they might throw out there? You know, for this, like for the second half.
A wild card, and this is like a kind of pie in the sky thing, but I think it's still a possibility. I think the fan base is still there. I think even if it's an announcement of an FZero game, I think people would really react well to that. And yeah, I think E3 would explode if they announced that at E3. Everybody else would pack up. They would go home.
What's the chances of Miyamoto coming out like in a Captain Falcon like racing car and then it says "Show me your moves" in Japanese? What's the chances of that happening? If that happened, it would be pack up. We'd all be dead. There'd be no way we'd be dead from.
Phil Spencer would be tweeting on Twitter like, "I'm sorry to let you know Xbox is shutting down. We can't even do it anymore. It's done."
First, congratulate them, and then congratulations for all these exclusives that we don't have. Congratulations. That's all he does is congratulate other people for first party games. This guy.
It's got to be hard. It's got to be hard being a solo Xbox owner because I own an Xbox, but like I can supplement that by having a Switch and a PS4. Yeah. You know, but it just I feel bad. I feel bad sometimes.
I swear, Phil Spencer has congratulated more people than actually the games. That's what Phil. I love Phil Spencer. I think he's a great guy. I think he's really cool. But Jesus, man, come on.
Yeah, there's only so cordial you can do.
Andy, what do you think about this? Then we'll get to Mama Mercy in terms of her opinion. Andy, what do you think about the GameStop CEO? What do you think? What games do you think are coming in 2018 at the second half here?
Well, I really hope for Animal Crossing. I loved New Leaf on the 3DS, and I said this before as well that it helped me to one of the most toughest moments in my life. Like
You okay? You're good. Go ahead.
I hope we do get one on the Switch this year. But last year, you know, we got games that were announced for this year, like Kirby and Yoshi. And I'm going to put up a prediction that some people may not like, but I think could be possible. They're going to announce it this year, but release it early next year.
What is it? Animal Crossing?
Yes.
Okay. I think fans will just be happy Animal Crossing's coming.
Yeah.
Because it's been a minute, and then like we got that Amiibo Carnival. So I'm just gonna go ahead and call it Amiibo. I'm gonna call it
Amiibo Carnival 2.
Yeah, Amiibo Carnival 2. And I know I'm calling it not the right name, but I refuse to address that game in Amiibo Carnival. So we got Amiibo Carnival.
I think it was Amiibo Festival. Maybe that's what it was.
No, I'm pretty sure it was Amiibo Carnival.
No, it was Festival.
No, it was Carnival.
It was Festival.
I think it was,
here we go.
I think it was Animal Crossing. No, it wasn't. Was it Festival?
Hey, let me show you.
I don't know. Maybe it was Carnival. I don't know. Nobody played that game. It doesn't matter. It's
Andy's serious here. He has it.
Oh snap!
I refuse to do the actual name.
Before you go crazy, I did buy it at like $20, and I just bought them for the Amiibo. Just for the Amiibo.
That's how you do it, mate.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure. I know it says the F word on there, but I'm pretty sure it's called Amiibo Carnival. There might have been a misprint. You know, there's been times where people put misprints on boxes. You know that, right?
Read it for yourself.
I have Resident Evil like relations. Like, you know that? Capcom. Speaking of Capcom misspelled the name of their own game. Okay, so So it's happened before. Just letting you guys know. I mean, Capcom literally did miss. I mean, I can grab the box if you guys want me to, but you guys can look it up. I have one of the first print boxes. They misspelled the name, and they didn't even bother to fix it for like a while. So, hey, man. All right then. Let's go ahead and move on to the next topic here. Oh wait, actually, Mama Mercy, did we? We haven't. No, number next topic. What am I talking about? How can I skip you, Mama Mercy? 2018 second half. What do you think?
Well, I'm not shocked that the second half is going to be stronger than the first, considering Christmas is just around the corner.
Yeah, Christmas, my favorite.
I think Pokemon will more likely happen this year because that is geared towards kids, and kids don't have their own money. I think Smash is going to be in September and drop with the online service. And I'm really hoping for this Animal Crossing. I got into Animal Crossing on the 3DS, and I didn't think I'd like it, and I probably got lost in so many hours with that game. Just like, oh, look at all the stuff I can make, and going to other people's towns. My friends had some bomb towns.
So like the whole town stuff, is that like, are you talking about the 3DS game?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Well, she like had her town all nice and like built things up. Like you can have things built over time. And then her house had different levels of like, she had a Zelda room and a haunted room. And I was like, I didn't realize that this game had so much more underneath it. Like thought it was going to be a boring game, but I actually had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, I played Animal Crossing on the GameCube first, and I thought it was just my friend kept on making fun of me for playing the game. He was just like, "Oh, look at this stupid looking game." But I mean, I thought it was cool. I ended up selling it though, and then I played 3D. I think I played the 3DS a little bit, not really, but I know I played like City Folk. I think I played the game on the DS a little bit. Never been a huge Animal Crossing fan, but I understand why it's so popular. Like I understand why people love it. Like Andy was saying, you know, it for a lot of people, it gets them through tough times. You know what I'm saying? And this is not like every now and then thing. This is like for like a lot of people. Animal Crossing is like a stress reliever. It's like whenever you're feeling sad, battles with depression, things like that. I've known people that said, yeah, they had battles with depression, and Animal Crossing cured their depression, like, or not cured it, but helped out a lot. You know what I'm saying? To where they don't feel depressed, you know, and stuff like that. So I'm down for any game to where people can say that, you know, I'm down for any game that's like that, like in terms of it just like coming out. So that's awesome. That's awesome.
Everything in that game is awesome besides Tom Nook shaking you down for money all the time. Andy knows.
Tom Crook.
Tom Crook. Yeah. Okay. Well, seems like there's going to be a lot of cool stuff to come in 2018 for the Switch second half. Personally for me, just kind of throw out like a wild card out there. I think it's finally happening, guys. Golden Sun is coming back. That's my wild card.
My gosh, that would be so awesome.
But you know, I have been wrong 10 years in a row, but that's okay. This is a
you
long time is a charm.
It's okay. I'm still hoping Rune Factory and Scalebound come to the Switch. So
yeah, well, you're gonna be wrong more than me on those. Well, maybe Rune Factory. I think but Scalebound. I think Scalebound is DEAD.
Don't say it. Don't. No.
Look. I was talking. Look, I have a guy who follows me on Twitter, and what's his name? JP Kellums. Okay, and like I said, I'm not. He didn't badmouth Microsoft or anything, but what he said this is what he said on Twitter, and I'm pretty sure you'd be okay with me saying this because he made it public. He said, "Oh, when Scalebound got canceled, I was like, good, thank God." Like that's essentially what he said. So there was some turmoil going on, and I think like Liam Robertson did something on it. Like that game, there was issues. There was problems from that, and like that's the first time that I've ever seen a Platinum Games title that has went public get canceled. Like that never
I
happens.
cried when Scalebound got canceled. Like I love Dragons. I was so looking forward to that game.
It could come back. But I don't know if it'll come back with Platinum Games as a developer.
Well, then I probably won't play it.
Oh,
I wanted it because Platinum was making it.
I mean, why would Platinum take that contract? You know, you already like screwed us off from like one thing here. Like, why would they go back and take that same contract? I don't see them doing that. Like, I can see them taking it and giving it to like another team, you know, and letting them take care. It's like Scalebound was the reason why I'm like, my brother got me an Xbox One because he saw how hyped I was about Scalebound. So he's like, okay, let me get this. My brother doesn't buy anything for himself, but he'll buy stuff for other people. He's one of those guys, you know, like he doesn't buy anything for himself, but he'll buy stuff for other people. And he bought me an Xbox One. He doesn't even have an Xbox One. He doesn't have a PS4 either. So
Yeah, Skits almost bought me an Xbox One that Christmas. And I was like, no, let's make sure that Scalebound is actually going to come out this year. And then like a month after Christmas, they said it was canceled. I was like, you guys just wanted the holiday sales. No, a lot of people were hyped for Scalebound, and I actually know a lot of people at GameStop. They said they got so many Xbox Ones back after Scalebound was announced as canceled.
Yeah, very unfortunate.
Like they had them all over the store.
Fable too. Fable got canceled too. Like I was hyped for Fable. I was hyped for Scalebound, and like those are my two favorite. Fable's my favorite Xbox franchise. You know, like actual real Xbox franchise that they own. That's my favorite one. And apparently there's rumors that there's a new Fable, you know, going down, you know, from the Horizon team or the Forza team. So we'll see about that one. So yeah, just gotta depend. So let's go ahead and move on to the next thing now. Now that we're done with the GameStop CEO thing, so let's move on to the Nintendo deal with SNK. So I don't know if I'm pretty sure all of you guys are kind of familiar with this story. If not, I'll just do a quick refresher, guys. So basically, there was a crazy deal that went on between SNK, Heroines Tag Team Frenzy, SNK the company, NIS America, and Nintendo. So apparently they all went into like a room, or at least one after. SNK went into a room somewhere at a convention or something like that, and Nintendo representatives were there. They saw the game, was like, hey, we want that game, but this is the deal. The deal is that we'll be a distributor, so we'll buy a lot of cartridges for you. So I'm thinking it's like they'll buy 300,000 cartridges, because I think the minimum is you got to buy 100,000. You know, so if you don't think your game is going to sell 100,000, it's not worth releasing on the Switch. You know, so I think Nintendo sweetened the deal and said we'll buy 3 times that amount. You know, we'll buy 300,000 cartridges, so that's guaranteed money. That's like millions of dollars into the pockets of SNK and NIS, Nippon Ichi Software. There you go, Nippon Ichi Software. So obviously they were hyped about it. The American president was hyped, so he got a little too hyped, I think. So my man's got a little too hyped and was like, yeah, we got this deal and all this, and like, you know, and the deal is that like it's physical exclusive for the retail version, and the special edition you can get physical and digital for the Switch, but then on the PS4, it's only digital only, no retail version unless you buy the special edition. There's a physical disc in there, but for the regular version, no physical disc. That was the deal. So he was hyped about that, and then he also added in some more. he also added in like, well, Sony, they don't care about smaller size developers. They don't care about, like, you know, they only care about bigger publishers, and that kind of got him in a little bit of trouble. He kind of backtracked and said that he didn't mean any disrespect towards the PS4. He still meant what he said about Sony. But, you know, people were trying to make it like he apologized to what he said about Sony. No, he apologized if they took any offense. He meant what he said, and he said if he apologized if people thought that he was dissing the PlayStation 4 itself as a system. The system's fine. You know, he wasn't dissing the system. He was just dissing kind of like what's been going down with Sony and in terms of how they feel about mid-sized to smaller publishers and developers. So yeah, that was that. So what do you guys think? We'll go ahead and start off with Mama Mercy. What do you think about this whole SNK Heroines deal with what happened with Nintendo and everything? Like, were you surprised when you heard about that story?
A little, that someone would just straight say that about PlayStation, but I feel like this is the first time we've had a story like this. With with the Nintendo aspect, but people saying that PlayStation doesn't play well with smaller developers.
Yeah, it's happened before.
But I mean, that's one of the things that makes me love the Switch, is they are really embracing the indie developers. I have a lot of indie games on my Switch.
Would you say that Nintendo needs to embrace a little bit more with the bigger publishers too, though?
I think they're still fixing some bridges from the Wii U. I believe they will come. Mm-hmm. I will believe if the Switch keeps selling the way it is and keeps its momentum, we're going to get those bigger publishers. It's time. Mm-hmm. You know, the Wii U was not a great system at all. And it's got to be fixed. Relationships got to be fixed, but there are bigger publishers who do have their faith in the Switch.
That's
like
true.
Square Enix and
EA, right?
No, not EA. We don't need EA.
No. Oh, did I say EA? My bad. Nice, not EA. Not EA. Screw EA.
Honestly, I would not be surprised if FIFA 19 was not coming to the Switch.
I would be a little
I think
surprised.
it would be. I think it is coming. Yeah.
Because actually, FIFA actually sold well on the Switch somehow. Yeah. Considering the effort that they put in, it actually, I think it's over 500,000 on the Switch. So that's pretty good money, for that they did, like lacking the features. And so, I mean, they add a lot of content in there, but it was still lacking quite a bit compared to the PS4 and Xbox One. So I'd be a little surprised. Although, I mean, I would just think, okay, the shock would go away after like a minute or two, because then you realize, oh, it's EA, so but I mean, I would be a little surprised. I'd be a little surprised. All right, so potentially perfect. We'll go with you next. What are your thoughts, man, like in terms of this whole SNK debacle type of deal? And are you interested in SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy at all?
Oh no, that's not my type of fighter. I'm gonna be honest. I definitely prefer a more tactical type of fighter. But that's waifus. I know, right?
Waifus. That hat screams that you like waifus, right? Right? You must.
No, it's it's been said before that PlayStation really bit the hand that fed them. If we take a look at the launch of the PlayStation 4, there actually were a pretty good amount of indie games there, and it seems like Sony kind of sort of turned their back on a lot of them now. They really don't really acknowledge them the way that Nintendo does and has. I know that indies were basically keeping the lights on for a lot of the Wii U's, and so they've really embraced that. And having a whole segment in directs dedicated to indies really shows their dedication to not only to those developers but the fans of those developers. Seeing indies do extremely well on the Switch is actually it speaks so much for what the system can do for not only independent developers but for third-party bigger developers as well. There's no way as a third-party developer I would look at the success of the indies on the Switch and be like, well, that would only happen on a small scale. No, that doesn't make any sense. Mm-hmm. It makes sense to have, like, in a recent video we just did, like, we made the comparison. Would you rather fish in a puddle or a lake? You see that where there's success, you see that where there's more opportunity, and that's where you go. It's as simple as that. I think the Switch definitely threw a monkey wrench into development, and that's why games are coming out later for the Switch. It's not just like a button, it's like make a Switch version, These things take time, and so for right now, we'll just have to be patient with that. But I think as time goes forward, we'll see a lot of day-and-date things. But yeah, Sony really bit the hand that fed them.
Okay, I think that's true a little bit, but I did want to read one comment from the section here, so we'll get into this. And also, I wanted to read Scarlett; she had a donation as well. But Mark Plot, I just thought that was kind of funny. He's like, despite the sales and limited games, the Wii U was a good system. Despite everything that was wrong, it was still good. Yeah, I mean that's the point, and that's the whole thing. I mean, Mark, I see what you're trying to say. Trust me, I mean, I love my Wii U, but I only love my Wii U because of Super Smash Brothers. If Super Smash Brothers was not on the system, I would not like it nowhere near as much. I would still like it. I mean, because Bayonetta 2, right? Bayonetta 2, you had
which is now on the Switch.
which is not on the Switch, but it started on the Wii U, or at least it was an exclusive to the Wii U for a while. And there's some other games. So I see what you're saying, Mark. I see what you're saying. There are some amazing exclusives on the Wii U. So I mean, I get that. And also Scarlett hitting us with the with the $5 donation, and she says, "Stop using curse words. EA is a bad word. Bad, OJ. No." I'm sorry.
That's the thing with the Wii U, though. Everybody loves the Wii U for Nintendo games, not third-party games. For Nintendo games.
Yeah.
But we're starting to see that there's interest in third-party games with things like Doom and Skyrim selling way more than they thought they would sell on these consoles. Even FIFA, it's the discussion behind it. It's that bad reputation that Nintendo fans seem to have had, even though it's not really their fault. We got bad ports of games. Why are we supposed to buy games that are that perform badly on the consoles that we buy? That's not fair on our part.
I think we should buy bad games. No. I definitely think like everybody go out there, spend $60 on Mass Effect 3 when you can get all 60 on PS3 and 360 and PC for the same price. I mean, I think that we should. No, sarcasm, guys. But
that's what I'm saying. Is like the Wii U was good for Nintendo games, but it wasn't really good for third-party games. The Switch is bringing Nintendo back into that third-party light. Like, look, guys, we got it. We got our stuff together. We fixed the problems. Come back to us. And we're getting more support than we ever have. I mean, we got Bethesda on our platform. That's never happened before. Well, and not just one, but what, 2-3 games?
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a Western developer.
And Andy, what's your thoughts on this when it comes to the SNK heroines and kind of the third party in general? I guess we kind of deviated into that. So what's your thought on that?
Well, on the SNK thing, it's definitely was. I don't really know what I can say about that.
Okay, not really much on that. Okay, well, I did want to add a comment from I saw a comment here from Sean Sweeney, the scientist. Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, but on the third party thing, I'm definitely open to third party games, and there are definitely third party games I'm coming out soon that I'm definitely gonna get on the Switch. That I even waited to get on the Switch because I could just sense them coming to the Switch, like South Park. When that game. That game had the same engine as Mario plus Rabbids, and also it was 2D as well. It was just too perfect for the Switch, so I just waited that out, and I'm glad I did it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like the South Park, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really big on South Park. I'm gonna get it, but I think that's cool that it's coming over. It does seem like a pretty solid RPG. I have the stick of truth on the PC, so I like the gameplay. I think it's okay.
Plus, I was a big fan of Stick of Truth, the prequel to Fractured But Whole.
Yeah, well, just the first one in the first one in the new line of South Park games, because obviously South Park has been out. There was tons of games beforehand, and they kind of just let's make it. These games are much better than the old. Don't play the old South Park games; those ones kind of suck. Those ones aren't very good. The new ones are good though. Sean Sweeney,
would you have ever seen South Park coming to the Wii U?
Not really. I mean, I thought it could. I mean, maybe at first, but then I started realizing nobody liked the Wii U. Then no, I wasn't gonna go. But I did want to read one comment from Sean in the chat here. He says the Wii U was similar to the GameCube, have its small community that enjoyed it for what it is, and had the beloved games that we all experienced. I mean, I think that there is some similarities there, but I think the biggest difference between the GameCube was third-party support. Like GameCube actually had a lot of third-party support.
A
lot more.
And Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, and Luigi's Mansion. GameCube had a lot of third-party support. And another thing about GameCube is GameCube had I think it even had a more hardcore base than the Wii U, because the GameCube sold over 200, and that's without a digital eShop, guys. And the GameCube sold over 200 million pieces of software with around 20 million consoles. So people that had a GameCube had 20 games per system, 20 actual boxed games, not like, Wii U cheats because obviously they're counting digital games, smaller ones. We're talking box games. People bought, and they were $50, then, or some of them were cheaper. They're maybe $29.99 or $39.99. But for the most part, we're talking $50 games here. So that was 20 games per person. That is the most hardcore community. I don't think there's a better ratio than that in the history of gaming, is there? I'm not sure if there's a better ratio than that in terms of 20 games per person on the GameCube. So I see what you're saying, Sean, but GameCube was almost at a different level because I think it didn't sell well just because. I mean, I don't know. I think it was maybe because of the time. No DVD player in there. I mean, people blame that. People blame all sorts of stuff. But for all intents and purposes, GameCube should have been more successful than what it was. Considering its library is amazing. You know what I'm saying? It has one of the best libraries out there. I mean, even has some great like Skies of Arcadia Legends. It has some really good, just weirder titles like Eternal Darkness. It had the Metal Gear Solid on there. It just had just a lot of stuff, man. Like the GameCube, when you go back and you look at it, Geist. There's just so many games. I mean, I don't know. Do you guys have any other GameCube games that you know of that you can think of that were just kind of like different but amazing on there that like Wii U just didn't get? Like, I don't know.
I mean, it's an interesting story. I often reference Beautiful Joe in the sense that it was an exclusive first, and then it came. It's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just it was crazy.
Yeah. Beautiful Joe's amazing, by the way. That's a fantastic.
That needs an HD remake right there.
Yeah.
I would
Beautiful
love
Joe
that.
1 and 2 put together. 1 and 2. Charge me $60. I'll pay $60.
Yep, but it's Capcom, so we might never see it.
It's Cap. Andy, did you have anything to add to that in terms of GameCube?
I haven't. I don't have a GameCube.
Oh, okay.
I had a GameCube, and my favorite thing about my GameCube was throwing that thing in my backpack to go spend the night at my friend's house.
Did you grab it by the handle? You said,
Heck yeah!
Yeah.
I hit my brother over the head with that once.
Oh my gosh. One of the corners over the head? Jesus.
He tried to take it from me.
Oh,
What a mistake.
I actually got into a fight with my sister over her taking my GameCube and kicking it. So I know what it feels like.
I was literally getting ready to leave to go to my friend's house, and he's like, "You're not taking the GameCube." And I was like, "Dad said I could," and he's like, "Nope." Swung him and hit him inside the head. And left the house.
That was the end of that.
That was the end of that.
And the GameCube still worked, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the GameCube was solid.
Nintendo approved.
Yeah. You hit somebody with the PS2, that thing's exploding. That thing was so rickety. The original PS2.
It's so funny. I went to go buy another PlayStation 2. I had to buy 3 of them before I could find one that worked.
It's so the PlayStation 2. The original PlayStation, it's so rickety. It is the most. It's the ghetto. It's one of the ghettoest looking systems I've ever seen too. It looks like an old DVD like player from like one of those old HAC players or something. It looks horrible. It does not look good. Like the new, like they did the remodels, the Slims. That one looks okay. The Xbox is, if you hit your brother over the head with the Xbox, he would have been dead.
Yeah.
Like the original Xbox, he would have just been out. So. All right.
Well, the Xboxes are hard on the outside, but the 360 was soft on the inside.
The
red ring of that.
Little red on the inside. My Xbox 360 red ringed. I had 2 that red ringed before I got a good one.
The black ones, huh?
Yeah. I got a. Actually, where is it? It's right. It's actually right down there. If you guys can see it, right below my microphone. That's my Xbox 360 that didn't die on me. So I got that one right there. It's the Modern War. I mean, unfortunately, it's the Modern Warfare 2 one, but that's the only one that has the Falcon. Like that was the earliest one that you can get with the Falcon chip in there or whatever. That was supposed to say like it cools things down. So yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and move on from there in terms of SNK and that whole deal. We'll talk about some third-party stuff. So we're gonna get into the last topic here, and then we'll get into you guys' user questions. So hold on to your questions. We'll get into those, guys. Do appreciate you guys all sticking around. This is a pretty successful first episode. We got over 200 people watching, so do appreciate you guys' support. And yeah, look forward. Like I said, this is just want to make sure because new people came in. This whole Google Hangout thing and all that. This is just for this episode only. As soon as we're done here, I'm going to edit a video and then I'm going to continue working. I have a custom layout for this here, guys. So you're going to get a much better layout. It's going to have Streamlabs hooked up to it. It's going to have notifications. It's going to be much better looking, guys. So trust me, it is coming. Just give me a little bit more time. Next week, that will be here. So this is just for the first episode, but this is the format that we are going to be using in terms of Google Hangouts, and then it'll be into a custom. So trust me, guys, it's going to look a lot better. So I do appreciate you guys sticking with us. All right, so shout out
people watching because I'm here.
Exactly, bro. The female touch. We need to have y'all. The female touch. Shout outs to Neil Willis hitting us with the $10 through Super Chat. Thank you so much, Neil. I do appreciate that, really do. So let's go and move on to the last topic here before we get into some questions. Yokai Watch 4, Nintendo Switch.
I'm super excited for.
Yeah, well, maybe if it ever gets localized. No, I'm joking. We'll talk about that. Summer 2018 in Japan. Our guest, Potentially Perfect, is here, and I want him to lead off. Potentially Perfect. Yokai Watch. Are you hyped for this? Do you like the Yokai Watch games? What's going down, man? What do you think?
I'm actually more hyped for this because it's level 5 more than it is Yokai Watch. I tried Yokai Watch. I really couldn't get into it. There were other RPGs that really drew me in at the time. But I think this is awesome. I think that the level of dedication that level 5 has said they're going to put on the Switch is actually bigger news than a lot of people are, noticing for. These are the people who make Inazuma. These are the people who make Ni no Kuni. These are the types of games like Fantasy Life. These are the types of games people really wanted to see on the Switch that kind of got hung up on the 3DS for a while. And I think this is a huge stepping stone. It's a marker for what's to come. And I think Yokai Watch is a great first step.
Definitely. I'm looking forward to it too, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. Andy, you want to give your thoughts on Yokai Watch, or are you excited for the game? Looking forward to it?
Well, I haven't played any Yokai Watch games, but I'm definitely interested.
Okay. Definitely. Yeah. Okay. Mama Mercy, what are your thoughts on Yokai Watch before I kind of talk a little bit more about it?
I'm very excited for it. My kids love it. I've watched the anime with them. I've played the games with them. I like that there's a little bit more relatability to it. There's a lot more real life stuff. Like you have like the beginning of the first game, your parents are fighting, you're afraid they're gonna get a divorce. Like there's real elements to like life in that game. And the combat was easier. My 4-year-old could even play it. And honestly, I used it as a learning tool because yokais are actually Japanese monsters. So we would go and research the yokai that we encountered when we played the game.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Nice. Yeah, that is really cool. So, I mean, the big thing for me with Yokai Watch, guys, and I think we can kind of discuss this a little bit more, is like, what is it going to look like in Japan? Like, is Japan going to react to this game? Because at one point, people were saying this. This was headlines, guys. Can Yokai Watch overtake Pokemon? You know,
Nothing can overtake Pokemon.
I know, but at one point it was getting to like, in terms of like levels of popularity, Yokai Watch was actually up there, you know, at one point. I think that there's a couple things that kind of stopped it from is level 5's insistence on, like, in terms of globalization, they take way too long with localizations. And they were so worried about the anime. They're so like, anime. We need to make sure the anime, you know, and nobody even watched it here in the US, you know, so it's like, it's not popular. I don't think it's ever going to be really popular. So they need to stop worrying about anime, you know what I'm saying? And just like localize the game and do traditional marketing for it. And then if people like the video game, maybe they'll get into the anime, you know, but there's a million animes to watch. So, I mean, standing out at this point is going to be hard, you know? So for me, I would just like to see them kind of really hone in on localization. And, you know, because like I hate, I don't know about you guys, maybe you guys can talk, but I hate when a game comes out in Japan and then like a year later we get it. It's like, why? You know what I'm saying? Like we see the internet, like we know, like it's not like back in the day, you know, like when you were a kid, when you never knew like when games were coming, you know, or you had to like read magazines or the internet was just getting going. Maybe there's not information. It's like we see the internet. Like I saw 2013 when Yokai Watch came out and I was like, okay, well, when are we going to get it? When can I play? You know, and we lose interest. If you wait 2 years to localize it, you lose interest. So I would want them to really hone in, stop worrying about anime in terms of the Yokai Watch anime and really hone in and focus on localization and making sure that you talk to the Western fans. Stop trying to daddy Nintendo for help too. Like, localize their game for us. You guys sold millions of copies in Japan. Why does Nintendo have to publish your games? Like, that's the thing that pisses me off about Yokai Watch. Like, why does Nintendo have to localize your game for you? Why does the Treehouse have to do it? Why does Nintendo have to spend the money? You guys sold like 3 million copies of Yokai Watch. You guys have plenty of money to localize it yourself. That's what I didn't understand is like, why does Nintendo have to step in and localize your game for you when you guys sold millions of copies? They did the same thing with Yokai Watch 2. Yokai Watch 2 sold more than Yokai Watch 1. They had 2 versions of the game too. They had 2 versions of the game and Yokai Watch 2 sold more and Nintendo once again localizes the game for them. And it's like, I think Nintendo's like, all right, enough. I think Yokai Watch 3 came out, said, no.
Does Level 5 have like a bad like localization company, or maybe they're not good at it?
I don't know how. They're not as good as the Treehouse. If you want to know what the best obviously the Treehouse is probably the best localization team, like, you know, out there. Just because everything they do is Japanese, you know, like whereas other companies have, like most other companies have American, like we're talking about like bigger companies, like Square Enix has American developers, you know, like most of these other Japanese companies have at least a couple American, you know, IPs and entities that they own. I mean, Nintendo does have a few as well, like, you know, like Retro Studios and things like that. But I mean, I don't know if like Level 5, they're always worried. I think Level 5 is always worried about localization. That's one thing that I noticed with their games. They're always worried about it with their own titles. There's always something that comes up to where they say, oh, well, you know, give us some time. Or like, there's always very tentative about localization with Level 5. So maybe they don't have that great of a localization team, or maybe they don't have the resources for a localization team. So that could be, I mean, that could be it. I mean, that's actually probably it, Mama Mercy, that their localization team, if they do have one, I'm not even sure if they have one. I think they have to go through someone else, you know, for it. Like, I think that's what they have to do, which Nintendo kind of does too at times, right? Like Xenoblade. They have Xenoblade Chronicles X. That was like Treehouse and another team, 8-4, that helped them localize that game. So, I mean, it must be, I mean, they're probably, and that's Nintendo. They have to actually get some outside help, you know? So I'm probably thinking that because there's so much text in these games. So it's probably a bit daunting for them. And like the humor, right? Like Japanese humor and Western humor, different.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of jokes, like weird jokes in Yokai Watch, you know? So I think, you know, there's a lot of things that kind of go into it. So yeah. So do you guys think that there's going to be 2 versions of this Yokai Watch? Do you guys think that there's going to be like a Yokai Watch Gold and a Yokai Watch Silver? What do you guys think about that?
I mean, it worked for them last time, and it's been working for Pokemon, so...
I think that's been part of their problem. Haven't they been, like, I feel like they've been trying to emulate Pokemon a bit too much. I don't know. I think they need to do their own thing. I think it's time to unify it again. I don't know.
I wouldn't be bad. But go ahead, Andy.
Were Yokai Watch like $40 on the 3DS?
Yeah, it's 40.
Do you think they will charge it up to 60 if they bring it over to the Switch?
Oh yeah. They're not going to miss that opportunity.
Well, if Well, if they're bringing 2 versions, you know, and you can just buy one. But if they're bringing 2 versions and they're both $60, that's gonna. I don't know how to react to that.
They're gonna do it. If I mean, they're gonna do 60, but if they bring 2 versions, they're gonna do 60. Just okay, well, you just buy one. They're not. I mean, they obviously want to like wink, wink, hit, buy both of them. But I mean, they're not gonna like. I mean, they're not gonna expect people, but they want people to buy both. It's like when Pokemon, like Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. It's like they're both $40, right? Or you can buy like a double pack with them. But it's like they're like the same game, you know. But the Pokemon companies, like, oh, you can buy either or, but really they're saying buy both. You know what I'm saying?
Like in my household, I bought Moon and my brother bought Sun. And then we just traded the Pokemon that we didn't have in each other's games. And every time they've been 2, that's what we've done.
But that's what they want you to do, though. That's like the exact like marketing. Like they want you to share it with a friend. Like that's exactly what they want, you know.
That's why in Moon there's Pokemon that there's not in Sun. Because they want you to buy both copies so you can finish your Pokédex.
Which is scummy somewhat, right? Like that's somewhat of, but it's so old, that tactic, that nobody really cares anymore, right? But
yeah, we're all over it.
Yeah, we're all
Especially
over it.
now that they have the online trading, you're just like, I'll just throw Pokemon I don't want anymore into the ether and just get them from somebody else.
I'd probably raise an eyebrow if Nintendo was like, "Hey, we're putting out one Pokemon game. Every Pokemon is in this game." I'd be like, "No, y'all are playing. Y'all are gonna give me the whole package."
Did somebody hit their head?
Yeah. It was almost like when Nintendo said Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is 2017. No. No. I mean, like when Nintendo, and I was like, "Oh yeah, we got the music done." So like, Nintendo put it on their Nintendo, like on the news page, the press releases, everything 2017 press releases. Who reads those? You know, so yeah.
What do you think it's gonna look like though? Like the Yokai Watch. What do you think? Is it gonna look like it always has, or are they gonna? You think they're gonna flesh it out?
I think it's gonna be more like, you see how like Inazuma 11 looks compared to the 3DS ones. I think it's gonna be like that type of jump. So it's gonna be pretty
excited for that.
Yeah, gosh. Inazuma looks good, huh?
Oh, so good.
Looks good.
Going to what Potential said, the sad thing is it does seem like Yokai Watch is trying to copy Pokemon, and that's really sad because they have the at-home advantage. Yokais are Japanese and Chinese monsters. Like, that's why their games got so popular, because these are monsters from bedtime stories that people have been hearing all of their life. And I always kind of thought it was sad that they kind of tried to go the Pokemon route, because I'm like, you guys have so much culture in this game that you guys should just be trying to do your own thing.
Maybe that's what they're going to do with this one. Like the CEO really talked about how he said it's going to be different. They want to add some things. And so I think that they know that they can't just go the Pokemon route, you know? I think they know that they just can't. They have to really do something different, which Level 5 is completely capable of, right? Like their games are pretty good. I mean, if you look at like Ni no Kuni 2, maybe it's a little bit over ambitious, but there's a lot of great, like there's so many different systems and unique things in that game, you know? So I think that they have the fortitude to do it, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, Pokemon really kind of went more the pet route. Like, Pokemon are essentially your pets.
Yeah.
Where, you know, yokai, they're supposed to be your friends, and there are things that your parents used to tell you about when you went to sleep.
Andy, do you have anything to add when it comes to, like, in terms of, like, Yokai Watch? Do you feel that, like, how do you feel like the Japanese reception is going to be when it comes to Yokai Watch? You think that there's going to be the lines? Well, the big, huge, long lines waiting for it.
Well, given the fact that they have movies of that of Yokai Watch, it's gonna be huge.
Yeah,
no doubt about it.
No doubt about that. All right, well, that's pretty much it, guys, in terms of the content that we have here for you guys. But we have a Q&A. I don't want to keep my guests on too much longer in terms of things because they've already been long enough, but we'll answer questions for about a good 20-30 minutes. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions, please let us know in the chat, and we'll be more than happy to take a look at them in terms of questions. So I'll wait till we get the first one, and then I'll start reading them off. And I guess I'll pick people just like, hey, Mama Mercy, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about this? So let's see until some questions come through. I do appreciate you guys watching. Seriously, we had pretty much 200 people almost the whole time. So this was such a great response to the first one. And it's even going to get better, guys. Like I said, next week, if you came in later, we're just doing Google Hangouts for this first one. Next week, we're going to have a completely custom layout just for the EssenceCast. So you guys are gonna really like it. It's gonna be hype. So awesome stuff.
Way to go, ninjas! Remember to smash that like button.
Yeah, smash the like button, and of course, let people know about the podcast. And while we get into some questions, I also want to announce that I'll be on a couple other podcasts too. So look out for me being regulars on some other podcasts, so some of the other communities doing as well. So I don't know if the guy wants me to announce the podcast that he's doing because it's brand new right now, but just look out. There's going to be some pretty cool people on a different podcast I'm going to be doing that you guys are going to like, especially if you like. I mean, it's not going to be a variety podcast like this is. It's going to be a Nintendo podcast, but at the same time, like there's some pretty cool people. I will say I don't know if there's going to be any doctors there, but there might be a doctor or two. And I'll leave it at that. So
bum, bum, bum.
Boom, boom, boom. I'm pretty sure you guys can guess who that is, but I'll leave it there. Blue Bull says, I didn't know Players was making a new podcast. Yeah, it actually kind of came out of nowhere, guys. We've been planning this kind of behind the scenes for a while, and I finally got it up, but I just didn't have enough time to kind of customize it. But next week it'll be completely good. I'm going to work on that all Sunday. So all tomorrow I'm going to be at my mom's house. I'm going to be working on custom layout, guys. So it's going to be pretty late. So let's see here. What do you guys think? What year do you guys think Shin Megami Tensei 5 will come out? I think 2019. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
late 2019.
Yeah, Christmas 2019 or holiday season.
Mama Mercy,
2019 at the earliest, but it could be 2020 as well.
Mama Mercy, who wears the pants in the family?
We're a team. We're partners.
Okay. that was Squid Vicious, by the way, who asked that question.
I guess it depends on what kind of reference you're asking. Like when it comes to the kid, okay, Skid says I do. I wear the pants in the relationship.
Skid's like, I want a happy wife, so she wears the pants.
I do run the household. He works all day. I run the house and make sure our kids don't light it on fire. So
you got to make sure
that is an important job.
That is a very important job. Like it's very important. Very important job. Dank Meme Center says, I'm not on the Spawncast tonight, guys. I'm not on the Spawncast. But I'll be watching and editing. So yeah, I'll be lurking. Dank Meme Center says, Player Essence, nice EssenceCast. Are you invited to Smash Bros. Invitational? No, Nintendo would not invite me to something like that. So no. Let's see here. I'm trying to go through the questions. You guys tag me if you want to ask a question. Mr. Nichols says, hey OJ, are you gonna another Spawncast? No, I'm not. DJ King Gaming says, Player Essence, all right, here's a Pokemon question. What type do you guys normally go for? Grass, fire, or water? I like fire Pokemon.
I am a Pisces, so I tend to go for water.
Yeah, I always go water every time.
And I haven't played Pokemon.
Andy, how have you not played? Andy, play a Pokemon game.
For me, it's kind of 50-50 thing because I really do like the fire Pokemon too. So,
yeah,
but I am drawn to the water ones because I'm a Pisces.
Okay, I do have an interesting story. I do actually own Pokemon Y, but I never bought it myself. One of my teachers originally bought one of my teachers at high school originally bought the game for her kids, but she didn't realize that they forgot that they couldn't play 3DS games on normal DSs, so she eventually gave it to me.
Wow.
Nice. Another question here says from Quantum L says, Player Essence, are you going to pick up Spider-Man for the PS4? Yeah, I'll be picking up Spider-Man for the PS4. You guys getting Spider-Man for PS4?
Oh yes. Maybe. Oh yes. That's looking. The more I see of it, the slicker it gives me like Spider-Man 2 vibes, but with stuff to do. I'm just buying games for graphics. I'm just buying games for graphics at this point. I think I'm pretty sure I'm buying God of War because the graphics just look amazing. I know it's going to be a great game, but the graphics look great. I'm going to buy Spider-Man because the graphics look great. So there you go. For me.
My 4-year-old is demanding I get Spider-Man so he can watch me play.
Blue Bolt is asking if I'm going to play Smash with Obi-Wan. Nobody, no YouTuber, no normal YouTuber wants to see me in Smash Brothers. Let's just say that right now. No normal YouTuber wants to see me in Smash. They've all been ducking me for years. When they saw me playing on the Wii U and they saw my record, and they're like, I'd invite them. Hey, you guys want to play Smash? Oh man, I gotta edit. Oh no, I gotta edit.
My thumbs hurt.
No man, I'm good. I invited so many Nintendo YouTubers to play Smash, and the only one that actually accepted was Ultra. He's pretty much the only Ultra, and I think that, I mean, I've played other people, but Ultra's the only one, and Ultra's really good. Ultra can beat me, but he plays, I mean, the reason why I won most of the time that I play against Ultra is because he uses Shulk. Not because he's not better than me, it's because he uses Shulk. He just uses a low tier character, and I use Sheik at the time. So Sheik's better. But yeah.
Okay. Passing on a message from the other two Uchihas. They said they're coming for you once Smash is out.
Sorry, your Sharingan will not work against me in Smash.
You haven't seen these two play Smash.
Okay, that's cool. They want to play. It's good. It's good. Smash is my favorite Nintendo game. It's my favorite Nintendo game. I love Smash. But yeah, you know what? I'm always down for new challenges. The Uchihas, you guys want? I'm gonna be like Mike Guy. I'm not gonna look at you guys' eyes. I'm just gonna be like fighting you guys, not even looking. So I'm good. I can counter you guys. So we'll see. Scarlet says, I'll play you in Smash Bros. So I'll give you a challenge. Let's get to these next questions here, guys. Clocked It says, man, OJ, skip my question for Mama Mercy. Guess I better ask a more serious one. Player Essence, if Animal Crossing is revealed, would you prefer it to be a top-down as normal or full 3D perspective? Are Animal Crossing top-down?
They're isometric.
They're isometric. Yeah, they're isometric. Okay, so you're saying not isometric, but full 3D, like to where you see like third person, you know. To me, I think either one works, right? Because like isometric, like you can kind of see more of the map, like if you're trying to design your house or something, right? So maybe, and like you can see more of the fields and stuff, like when you're like planting or when you're pulling leaves and stuff. And so I think with isometric, I mean, you guys are bigger Animal Crossing fans than me. So with isometric, which one's better for gameplay, right? Like which one would be better for gameplay?
Well, I do like the New Leaf's isometric view, but imagine if it was the same isometric. How do you say that same view? But yeah, but you could like tilt the cameras in different angles. Like if the map was like a flat 3D,
and you could pan the camera, like kind of like tilt it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, pan it, like
Okay. What about you? Potentially perfect. Does it need to be? Would you like it more of like a third person like view, or would you like it like?
I think
like how
the Switch gives these developers such an opportunity to really iterate on their games now and give them new life, essentially. And I don't think that every game needs to look the same. Every game doesn't need to be Breath of the Wild or Mario Odyssey, but I don't want Animal Crossing to lose its identity in that sense. I think the isometric viewpoint and the rounded horizons really help aid in its personality as its franchise. If it just got its 3D, like where you could control the camera and everything like that, it would just be Harvest Moon. That's all it would really be at the end of the day. So, but with house design, So I think the isometric viewpoint is part of its identity.
Okay. All right. Do you have anything to add to that, Mama Mercy?
I like how New Leaf's site is. I think it's good. I like the way it is. I think that's something that doesn't need to change.
Definitely. Okay. Well,
I think animals could look a little bit better. That's what I think.
Yeah, they could probably get a little bit more polygons in there, maybe. Okay.
Some of those animals give you nightmares. One of the cats' eyes are open as far as it can be.
All right, so Avidin Smith, shout outs to Avidin Smith, and he says, Player Essence question, who do you think will win Game of the Year? This is a good question, guys. So there's a lot of questions coming in, so some of them are like kind of like joke questions, so I'm really gonna read like the serious, like the normal questions, guys, just because there's so many coming in. It says, which do you think will win Game of the Year? This is based off the premise, of course, God of War 4 or Smash Switch. God of War 4, hands down. God of War 4 or God of War, the new would beat it over Smash, because Smash, in my opinion, isn't going to change enough for it to become a Game of the Year candidate. Like in 2014, Smash, I don't know if it was even considered for Game of the Year by like the Game Awards and stuff like that. Like it's just because the formula to a lot of the people that vote for this type of stuff is Smash is always just Smash. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's very hard for a fighting game to win Game of the Year. Like when was the last time a fighting game has won Game of the Year? In any fighting game, even though they've been like a lot of them have been really good over the years. Mm-hmm. Fighting games just never win Game of the Year because they have to.
fighting game's been nominated.
Yeah, I mean, for Game of the Year, I don't even remember. I don't even know if Smash Bros. Was nominated at the Game Awards for Game of the Year. I mean, it might have been, but I don't even remember if it was. And Smash 4 is one of the best fighting games ever made. It's awesome, you know. So I'm gonna say God of War is going to slaughter it. It's not even going to be close. Not in game quality. I think Smash Switch is probably going to be just as good of a game, or review almost as high. But Smash on the Wii U reviewed super high, wasn't even in the conversation for Game of the Year. You know, like it reviewed just as high as any other game out there. But I mean, in 2014, what was it? Dragon Age Inquisition was winning Game of the Year. Dragon Age Inquisition, like I have Dragon Age. That's not Game of the Year. Like,
I love that. Thank you.
It's not in my opinion, Dragon Age Inquisition. I mean, this is just super subjective, right? Because a lot of people love Dragon Age Inquisition. But if you go back and play the game, I just don't think Dragon Age Inquisition was as good, like a Game of the Year type of game. I thought Beta 2 was a lot better, but that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion on there. I didn't think like Dragon Age Inquisition was as good as like other EA stuff, like for example, like Mass Effect 2. I think Mass Effect 2 is better than Dragon Age Inquisition, you know? So, but that's just like
Mass Effect doesn't go anywhere near the Dragon Age franchise.
What? Are you
what?
What?
I personally am more of a fantasy person, so Dragon Age is my cup of tea.
What's the highest rated Mass Effect game compared to the highest rated Dragon Age game?
I don't care. You guys got Andromeda. That's all that needs to be said.
I was gonna say Mass Effect 2 is one of the highest rated games of all time. I'm just putting it out there. Just putting it out there that Mass Effect 2 is one of the highest rated games of all time. So I think it's in the top 20. It's like a 96 average. I'm just saying. I know that's not all what we consider. So I mean, I get it though. I see why people love Dragon Age Inquisition. I get it.
Yeah, it has dragons. Enough said.
Okay, but Mass Effect has Shepard.
And
it has huge reapers. And it has huge reaper ships. And it has
consequences.
And it has consequences for your action.
There are consequences in the Dragon Age franchise. Trust me, I played a mage in most of those games.
But did you carry them over? Like as if it was like your life, as if it was like
in 3, you actually got to go in and pick all of your choices from the previous 2 games, and it affected your game in 3.
It did? Dragon Age?
Yeah.
Okay, wait, Dragon Age Inquisition did that?
Yeah.
You can import data from the previous games?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh.
And it will change. Like, I don't remember the kid's name for the first game, that his mom hid him away and wouldn't let him go to the tower because he lost all of his status. If you save him, he's in the 3rd game.
Oh,
and if you did it, when you go to that town, they're talking about how much he ruined their town and stuff.
Still not as good as Mass Effect 2, but it's all good. No, I'm joking. All right, so let's go to move on to the next question here. Let's see here. Kevin Wilson says, we talked about this a little bit, but I want to talk about it here. Everyone's already saying that you won the debate, Mama Mercy, so I'll concede defeat. Kevin Wilson says, Player Essence, what games do you think Nintendo's going to show at E3? Smash Brothers, Metroid Prime 4, Pokemon, Fire Emblem. I think those are going to be like the 4 key games that we're going to see there, and like a wild card game, like an Animal Crossing, or like a Golden Sun, some type of wild card, more of a wild card game that maybe people were expecting, but maybe not, you know. And super wild card would be like FZero, and super wild card would be like Sin and Punishment, something like that. So maybe you guys want to go down, just like I know we talked about it, just for the people who came in afterwards. Potentially perfect. Any games that what are you expecting?
I'd like to see another Eternal Darkness game. That'd be really cool to see. Maybe some people have been toying with the idea that they might be doing another Luigi's Mansion game. That'd be like a wild card thing there, but we haven't seen anything else on Yoshi, and I know we all know Yoshi's coming, but we haven't really seen any updates on that. And I really want to see them blow it out of the water with what they do with Metroid and whatever Retro Studios is working on.
I know some people were talking about like the difference between the combat systems in Yokai Watch compared to Pokemon. Think of Yokai Watch as kind of like Pokemon, but like weirder things that happen, like spinning wheels for certain stuff to activate certain things, multiple Pokemon that you can attack on the stage, you know, like 3 of them on there. So just if you watch a gameplay video, you'll be able to instantly see what the difference is between them in terms of combat goes. So yeah. Yokai Watch is just weird. The combat system is just weirder. It's a more weird Pokemon, in my opinion. But I'm talking about like the first Yokai Watch. Yokai Watch 2, I have not played Yokai Watch 2. So anyway, all right. So we got a ton of questions here. So let me see. We're gonna answer a few more. I lost the debate, so yeah, there you go. More people saying that I lost. Mama Mercy, you got me. Let's see here, because some people were saying, "Oh, well, PUBG got nominated for Game of the Year," which completely wrecks my argument, right? I guess it somewhat wrecks my argument when it comes to the whole Game of the Year stuff. Because yeah, PUBG did get nominated for Game of the Year. So
I have a question. Did one year we get the nominee was Witcher DLC? It wasn't even a whole game. It was not saying any before the comments explode. Witcher is a fantastic game. I love it, but it was
trash.
Just its DLC. It wasn't even the game. Well, the game won when that game came out, but like that year was so bad that DLC won Game of the Year.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes DLC is really good, you know. Sometimes
that was like a 20 to 30 hour DLC, so I mean, it was its own small game in itself.
Yeah, that's true.
Have you not played the balloon mode in Mario Odyssey? Hey, bouncy that
Game of the Year, baby.
Hey.
Game of the Year, bro.
But I honestly think Nintendo's gonna kill it this E3.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be good too. Sean Sweeney has a question, and he says, "The Nintendo booth at E3, which world would you rather have, Pokemon or Fire Emblem?" Well, you're asking me, and so you know what I'm gonna say, like Fire Emblem, but obviously Pokemon would probably be what it would be, you know. So, what would you guys rather see?
Smash Brothers.
Yeah. They've done that before. Like 2014 was pretty Smash Brosy. You know, there's a ton of setups. I was at E3 2014. For those who don't know, I used to go to E3 every year. I went to E3 2014, 2015, 2016 until I realized that it's a waste of time for me to go. So yeah, I went to and 2014 was lit. 2014 was the most lit E3. It was so, man, they had Bayonetta 2, they had Smash, they had tournaments, they had people were playing Hyrule Warriors, like people were like, oh, you can play as like Zelda and all these, like it was just hype. There was just and like it was so hype. Games like Yoshi and other games, you know, Captain Toad, they were putting corners, you know what I'm saying? Like they were putting, like those are good games, you know, they were putting corners because there were so many setups for Hyrule Warriors and Smash. Like that had like across like such like it felt like a mile across. There was just like Smash and like huge lines that were dipping into the Sony area, you know, like to play these games that were actually like almost touching because like Sony and Nintendo sit right next to each other. Sony's booth was dead, bro. It was, it was dead. You can get straight in line and play whatever you want because Sony, they are weirdos when it comes to E3. They be blocking off their like it's like a like an amusement park or something. They be blocking off their to where nobody can see it. Like nobody can see their setups. Like, and anybody who's went to E3, you guys will know what I'm talking about. But Sony is the weirdest company. Like Bloodborne, Horizon Zero Dawn, you had to get in line and then it was blocked off from the public view. Like you couldn't see the game. So I'm like, okay, I'm not waiting in this mystery line. How long am I going to be waiting? I couldn't, like, it was dark when you had to go in there. I was like, what is?
Yeah, for all you know, they're trying to steal your kidney.
I know. I was like, what are they doing? Like, I was thoroughly displeased with Sony. Like, they had all the garbage games. Well, not garbage, but they had all the other games out there, like, where you can play them where nobody was. So for me, like, that E3 was just the best. And, like, upstairs was VR, and people were just like, and it just looked like a bunch of people doing, like, the robot, and, like, upstairs. And so I was just like, okay. But then Microsoft's booth was pretty cool. I got to play Fable. I got to play a bunch of other stuff. So so for me, E3 is always fun. I mean, like that was fun. 2015 was meh, and then 2016 was garbage across the board for everything.
But then last year seemed awesome.
Last year's was well, what was last year? What did they do last year? They did they did a lot of stuff.
Odyssey.
Yeah, Mario Odyssey. Yeah, Xenoblade. They had a lot of stuff. But the year before was just Zelda. That was the whole Zelda setup. You guys, I was there. It was interesting. It's like, what do you want to play? Zelda.
Why else would I be here?
Yeah. What else? What is everyone playing? Zelda. Like, there was no other games. Like, I'd never heard of that.
I'm really hoping for some Bayonetta 3.
Oh yeah.
Footage. This
I forgot to say, I think Bayonetta 3 is going to be playable in there too. So yeah, Bayonetta 3 as well. So that's a lot of games that we just talked about right there.
Yeah.
Bayonetta 3.
So how long do you think the presentation is going to be then?
I'm going to go with 35 minutes.
Yeah, Nintendo's gotten like really good about getting a lot of information out in a little bit of time.
That's what I love about their showcases. I mean, inside Xbox, they're trying. They are really trying.
Look, you can be honest here. Potentially, that was trash, right? Like, it was kind of boo boo. Like,
it's just like an infomercial. I was bored.
It was pretty. I mean, but you're right. They are trying, but it was pretty bad. It was definitely not good. So. We'll answer a couple more questions because I know a lot of you guys' questions have been skipping, but I mean, like, obviously, there's a lot of questions coming in, and there's some stuff that we already answered too as well. So I'm kind of skipping those. Yeah, we'll rate somebody. We'll definitely rate somebody. I'll get someone so we can rate because we got a pretty good viewership right now. So I definitely want to rate somebody. Excuse me. Let's see here. Player Essence. Kevin Wilson says Player Essence. We need Mother 4 for the Switch. What do you guys think about Mother? You think that what if that was a wild card? Okay, how about this? How would you guys react? I'm gonna start with Andy, then we'll go down the board here. Andy, how would you react if Reggie came out and said, "You guys wanted Mother 3? How about Mother 3 and Mother 4?" Like, what if that happened? Like, what if they did that? What would you think, Andy?
All I know is that the internet would just break. like the internet would just lose its mind completely.
Yeah. It'd be pretty. You're right. It would be pretty crazy. What about you, Mama Mercy?
I agree with Andy. If they announced Mother 3 and 4, like, the internet is going to implode on itself, and they're going to be like grown men crying and like riots in the street, and like everybody's gonna be like, when is this game coming? Like, I unfortunately missed the whole Mother series, but I've heard really good things about it. My husband talks about it all the time.
You can tell people who like Mother because they're weird people. People who love that franchise are weird, naturally weird, because you have to be weird to like that franchise.
Yeah, somewhat. And especially since like Undertales came out, and they were like, "This is our love child to that whole franchise."
The Undertale franchise is just, I mean, the Undertale fan base. Just keep me away from those. Like, keep me away from those guys because they are weird.
The Undertale fan base is also the Mother fan base. And I mean, I literally think like things will be caught on fire if they came out and said Mother was coming to the Switch. Also, it would be impossible to find a Switch. Like, scalpers will be selling those things for like $3,000, and people will be buying them
if they did just like to play Mother. Like, let's say if they did like, I would agree with that if they did like a Mother bundle. Like a limited edition, like Mother bundle. Yeah, I think
people would, the collector's edition. Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Oh God, that would be just Black Friday every day. Like, people.
Nintendo would only make like 15 of them, so that's
yeah.
Oh God.
They only make
scalpers would buy like 7 of them.
Yeah, so scalpers
and they're on eBay for $3,000.
You just see some guy sitting like Noctis from Final Fantasy, and he's just like this with like a bunch of them in the back. It's like this, like so. Bid on these,
or like Rumpelstiltskin from like the Once Upon a Time series. Like, I want your firstborn child.
Somebody's asking if we're NBA fans. Are you guys? I'm an NBA fan. Are you guys NBA fans at all?
Yeah.
No.
Pacers. Playoffs, boys.
Your Pacers, number 5 seed, not bad. Yo,
take that, Paul. Anyway,
Paul's from my area, so I'm not hating on him. I'm not hating on my boy Paul. And we both went to Fresno State. True story. I got dunked on him one time. But that was back when he was 6'6". Now he's 6'10". So when he first came, he went to Fresno State. When Paul George first came to Fresno State, he was all hyped up, and we were at the rec and we were playing. He was a freshman. And he was just balling everyone up, and I was guarding him, and he wasn't playing hard. Then all of a sudden, he decided to play hard, and that was when it was over. Like, that was when I got roasted. So yeah. But also, he's also like a foot taller than me, so that also helps, right? So yeah. Shout outs, but yeah, I'm interested to see the Pacers go this year. I think it's going to be interesting to see them in their their series against the Cavs. Also for me is like I mean, my Bulls aren't in it, so Bulls suck. So that's about it. I think that's done. All right, so we'll get another question here. Let's see. Jason Gibson says, "Player Essence, I've heard a rumor that Final Fantasy 14 Online could be coming to the Switch. I heard that it's already being tested. I actually saw some photographs on the Switch. Have you heard anything?" Yeah, I've actually heard. That's not necessarily like a rumor, right? I think that's something that they've already stated, that they've already said. Like Final Fantasy 14, we want to have it on the Switch. So I would not be surprised if they are doing testing for it. If there's some leaked photos or something, I haven't seen anything that you're talking about in terms of leaks. But yeah, that's something that we already know that like Square Enix is actually they said it twice that they wanted to be on the Switch. So would you guys be interested in Final Fantasy 14 at all? Like
I can't pay for that again. I can't. I already sunk so much money and time into that. I can't do it again. That's a rabbit hole.
I would love to try it, but I don't know with potential's reaction. I don't know. Maybe I should stay away from that game.
It's a subscription-based thing, so you have to be like when you're paying money for it, you feel like you have to play it.
It's WoW all over again.
But it's good though. It's good for an MMO. It gets expensive after a while.
I mean, because they have like the monthly fee every month. What are you paying? Like $14 or something like that? Like
it's $14. But like after 300 hours of it, you're kind of like, wow, I could have bought several games for this, you know?
Yeah.
That's the reason why I'm not really big into MMOs. Like pay. Like I don't mind. Like you do an MMO that's free to play, and then like if I want to spend a little bit of money on it, you know, like I have like a booster pack or something. Okay, do that because it's like a one-time fee, or it's not like too expensive. But like if it's like reoccurring, and then you got like more games that you're trying to buy, it all just starts adding up, right? So yeah. Okay, PUBG or Fortnite, guys?
I have played neither, but if I had to choose one, it'd be Fortnite.
Fortnite for me.
Fortnite.
Crazy Justice. Boom.
Oh, yeah,
I backed that the first day it went up.
No, Crazy Justice is looking good though. I like the cover system.
I'm very excited.
Mass Effect, the cover system. So
I see many afternoons playing that with my husband.
Crazy Justice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think any battle royale game would work well as long as we don't get Radical Heights.
Hey man, I want to play some more Radical Heights. Okay, I want to play some more of that game. We also have another question here talking about let's see. I lost it. Just for a second. Ashiko wants to know if you think Final Fantasy VII remake will come to the Switch. No, not in the current form that it's in. Maybe we'll get some type of Final Fantasy VII, or we'll get some type of remake of a Final Fantasy game. But I don't know about in the current form of this vaporware title. I don't know if it's ever going to come to any system. Be it that, like if it's ever. No, I'm joking. It's probably going to come to PS4 at some point, or maybe even PS. It might be a PS5 game. It might be PS5. I don't know.
Give us some information on it before you discuss other versions of it.
Yeah, we need to
have a staff. Like,
yeah, they don't even. I mean, like it's this pandering, like this Square Enix pandering to Sony at E3s pisses me off, man. I really dislike. I don't get too mad about some things, but that's something that I'll legitimately get kind of like grinds my gears a bit. Is this we have to announce something at Sony's press conference? We have to say something. It's vaporware. It's not real. There's nobody working on it. Or it might be 10 years from now, but we have to announce it because it's Sony's press conference. Like, I hate that. They've done this so many games. How many games have they done? Shenmue, freaking Kingdom Hearts, E3 2013.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, E3 2013 that we heard about these two games, and we still don't have them. Screw that. Like that legitimately gets me. Because like to me, that's messing with your fans. That's messing with your users. And that sends these stupid websites into the hype cycle of, Sony won E3! So,
do you think Sony ever pressures Square to have something at their presentation?
Oh, yeah. Like, definitely.
And that's why we get these, like, 6 years before the game's done presentations?
Oh, yeah. They have to. Why else would you do it then? Like, they have to. I think it's pressure. I think it's backdoor deals, potentially. In terms of like buying, like almost like the SNK type of deal, but not to where everyone knows about it. Like, hey, we'll buy a certain amount of units. Like it's something, because why else would you announce Kingdom Hearts? I mean, maybe for the fans, right? But I mean, still, it's like,
and have like 6 filler games in between now and then.
Yeah, but having like milk your fans, like pretty much like they return like just turn the thing like it's like a towel. You're just trying to get every drop out. That is Kingdom Hearts fan. That's what Square Enix and Sony due to their fan base when it comes to no you to you're just done. And then
I think when it comes to Final Fantasy VII is they announced it the year that it hit its 20 years. So everybody was like, are we going to get a remake? Are we going to get a remake? And they were like,
I think you cut out.
Yeah, I think she cut out.
Okay, well, I know what she was gonna say though. Like, are we gonna get it? And then I think they released it on like PC. like the original. Like, like, are we gonna get a remake? And it was like the PC, you know. So yeah. All right. So let's see here. Let's see. I don't know. I don't really see. I know there's some other questions, guys, but we pretty much answered quite a number of stuff. If you didn't get your question answered, I'm terribly sorry about that. Terribly sorry about that. Hold up. Okay, no, T-Dude, that's not a question that I need to answer right now. Do I think Nintendo's going to take over? Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they will. I don't know if they've announced that or not, but maybe they do. Maybe they don't. I'm not sure.
Nintendo's going to take over the world.
Take over the world. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and cut it there, guys. Next time we will have, before we get into our outros and stuff, next time, just let you guys know, we're going to be doing the podcast around look around 2:15 to 2:30. Excuse me, West Coast time. So PT. That's what it's going to be. Probably every Saturday. I don't think I can do it during the week. I want to try to get in during the week, but people won't be able to show up because of school and work and because of other things. So we're probably going to have it every single Saturday around 2:15 to 2:30 p.m. PT. That is 5:30 p.m. 5:15 to 5:30 p.m. ET. So look out for that, guys. When it comes to it's going to be completely different next time that you guys see it. If you came in later, it is not going to be just. I mean, we're going to be using Google Hangouts as the base, but it's going to have a custom layout. So you're going to see custom graphics. You're going to see Streamlabs. You're going to see all that pop up. You're going to see the GIFs or GIFs. I don't know which one is it? Is it GIFs or GIFs? Which one is it?
GIFs.
GIFs. Okay. Yeah. You're going to see the GIFs come up. So all that's going to come up. And I know you guys love that type of stuff. So that will be back next week. I just did not have the time to put it together because there was a bug. There was an error with Google Hangouts. So I'm going to spend all day Sunday making a sick layout like I do for PE Arena and like I do for my other shows. And look forward to that, guys. It's going to be nice. We're going to have a lot of cool goals and stuff and all sorts of things. So you guys will see a very different. It'll be the same show. I don't want people to come and say, "Oh, is this the same?" The EssenceCast, it's going to be the same one. And no, for all those we didn't copy. We're not trying to copy John from Spawn Wave. Okay, I'm on the Spawn Cast a lot. We're not trying to copy. It's just a simple podcast with the name Cast at the end of it, so you guys can remember that that's what it is. And I just use my name, Player Essence. I just use Essence because Player Essence Cast sounds weird. Okay, so I just use Essence. Okay, I was thinking about Player Cast, but then that sounds weird too. Like I don't know about. And then I use like PE Cast. I mean, that's too short. Okay, so I just took part of my name and put it in there. All right, John's not going to sue me for copyright, okay, or anything like that. All right, and podcast with the cast at the end of the name was here before John was doing that. So John's cool with this cast. Some people were saying, "Now, what is John going to think about this? John's not going to think
John, he wouldn't care."
Yeah, John, first of all, me and John are really good friends, okay? So, and I'll probably have John on the cast here, all right?
I say John's going to ask when he can be on the cast.
Yeah. So I saw.
Also, have you guys watched Spawn Wave's channel? Like, he's the chillest dude ever.
Yeah, exactly. He's super chill and a great guy. So just to let you guys know, and it is going to look obviously we're using Google Hangouts, so it looks like, it's not customized. So next week, you guys are going to see a completely different show. Trust me, it's going to look really hype. So look forward to that, guys. Do appreciate it. I do appreciate all of you guys coming out. Thank you for the donations, guys. We had a number of donations tonight, so thank you guys for that. Before we go, we're going to go ahead and do some outros here. So Andy, my boy, I know you have a Twitter. You want to go ahead and plug that Twitter if people want to follow you? What's your Twitter at, dude?
If you want to follow me, you can find me on Twitter at Andy_9P.
Thank you. I appreciate you being on. You're one of our first, you're our first community guest, tier 3. So if you're on Patreon and you're a tier 3, you want to be on the show, links in the description in terms of tier 3s. We'll be getting that done. And then if you're a sponsor, you will also be able to come in after the tier 3s. We will have sponsors. So if you want to sponsor, you can. There'll be signups and you will be able to do a sign up to come on the show with us. So that's another cool thing about this show is that we do have community members on. Now, Mama Mercy, she's going to be here almost every single time. Like I said, because I want to have the female touch on the show. So Mama Mercy will be here as long as she can be here. I mean, there might be times that she has to do something, but she'll be here. She'll be one of the regulars on the cast as well. So Mama Mercy, you want to let people know where they can find you at? Because some people were saying, "Where's your channel?" Some people were already asking for your channel because they're already a fan. So I know you don't have a channel, but you want to plug your Twitter?
Maybe I should start my channel back up. I used to have one.
Maybe you should. I know your husband's doing a channel. So
yes, if you guys want to follow my husband, it's Skits. He has a channel called Unbound Gamer, and you can find me on Twitter at Mama Mercy 88. You know what? If you guys want me to start my channel again, go to Twitter and comment. If I get enough comments, I will start my channel again.
Yes, do it.
Dragon Ball Fighters all over again.
Yeah, I will try to link their Twitter handles and stuff. I didn't put them in there, but I'll try to do that in the description. Also, Quantum Bell says, why didn't you name it the PE Prime podcast? Because there's already a guy named Nintendo Prime, by the way. Okay, so that I'm friends with, and he does a podcast. So no. I just took a generic name, which is a podcast, and then just put my name before that. So yeah, PE Prime, that's Nintendo Prime. You know what I'm saying? Like that's something that he does. So podcast is not a name that anybody has copyrights on. Like you can use the name cast at the end of what you want to do and it not be the, what somebody else does, so podcasts have been around forever. So no, I can't do that. And also for our guests here, potentially perfect, my boy, where can they find you at?
They can find us at Twitter at PoPerfUS. I'm dropping it in the chat right now. We also have an Instagram, and you can find us here on YouTube. We upload videos every Monday and Friday. So you can look forward to all that awesome hilarity there.
And you said you have a group, so are they like your roommates or college or? Yeah,
so I'm in pharmacy school. So a pharmacy classmate of mine, he and I started the channel together as well as my roommate. So now we comment on things in gaming, certain things that people don't want to talk about. Like, for example, what it's like being a female gamer in gaming. We just did a podcast with a few female gamers, and it's actually horrifying some of the things that they have to go through. It's crazy, but yeah. So we like to make sure that we do things like that, but we also like to have fun with it. So yeah.
So the prescription is comedy. Dad joke. So make sure you guys.
Before you go, hold on. Potential. Before you go, do your impression of OJ real quick, just a little bit.
Oh man, you should definitely check that out on Twitter. That was fun.
I did. I saw it. I laughed.
You can do it live if you want. You can do it right here.
So first up today, anime.
Oh, and Smashing Tobies. Can't forget
about
Smashing
those
Tobies.
Smashing Tobies. Yeah, shout outs, dude. Potentially perfect. That actually made me want, like, after I saw that impersonation, I was like, I think I need to have him on. He seems like a really good guest. And obviously, you did a fantastic job, dude. You're very knowledgeable. I know pharmacy school can be a bit rough. My brother-in-law's a pharmacist as well. And
awesome.
he's going through all that. I know how it is, bro. Like it's not easy, all these different names and stuff. And I used to work with pharmacists, right there, right next to them. Not as a tech, but as like a health coordinator type of deal. So I already know what's going on. And hopefully you get your Nikes, because you my boy, you're gonna be running around get your own once you get your spot. Pharmacists are very busy people.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I know all about that. So thanks for being on, man. We'll definitely have you back at some point. Yeah, definitely have you back. You're very knowledgeable on games. I appreciate you and your channel. Had a lot of fun. So make sure you guys check out all of us here, whether it's Twitter or not. And like I said, guys, we will have a completely new layout for next week. We'll have some new guests as well. If Mama Mercy can be here, she'll be here. We'll have a new tier 3 Patreon, and I'll have a sign up on Patreon for that. So if you're a tier 3, you'll see it. It'll only be able to see for tier 3s. And then we'll have also a new guest as well from somebody. I'll grab somebody. So yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching the first episode. I think it was successful. Most of the time we had over 200 people. I do appreciate all of the support, and we will see you guys for the next one. Bye bye.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button.
Goodbye.